pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Paul Cassidy.
Here.
Tanya Hogan. Here. Jerry Golka.
Here.
John DeBoyer.
Here.
Mark Burchard.
Here.
Maureen Bory.
Here.
All right, we have bills payable.
I will make a motion to approve bills payable in the amount of $327,399.09.
We have a second?
Second.
Have a second? Any discussion?
Yeah, what's the, again, we have a large sum to OHM, $43,476. I was hoping that when we have these bills like this, there'd be some kind of an explanation with it. O&M comes in and say, well, okay, this is what we've done, what we haven't done, what we need to do, this is how we're doing it, and the whole shot. Right now, I don't know anything about OHM, and we're paying them all this money.
Well, I think they completed the study, but I'm not going to argue with you, Mark. I'm just telling you, I think they completed the study.
I don't think it's
just
completed.
a matter of putting together their...
It's 150 grand, we only paid 50 and 40, how's it
I
complete?
don't think anybody's rushing to pay them. We don't have to pay them.
If you want to see, they'll give you an update. Aren't they sending you updates, Paul?
We can ask for a more clear bill.
Please.
Okay, why don't we do that? So can we pay it, vote for the bills payable aside from including OHM?
Yes, give me one moment.
Advise the motion.
I
Yes,
do
I-
have a question also. The ambulance fund for $152,358.92, is that a one-time annual thing, or what is that, Tanya?
The ambulance fund. Oh, the that is a disbursement that is every single year. It's recurring one-time payment
Okay.
for the year. There's two, so we'll be seeing another bill very similar to this on the next one. We have to pay twice.
And then I was just curious, on that OHM bill, we've got it under building and grounds. Is there a particular reason for that?
Because that's under alternative transportation under buildings and grounds. That's the journal entry for that.
Okay.
So I will amend my motion to approve bills payable in the amount of $283,922.86.
Support.
All right, we'll do a roll call.
Okay. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Golka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes.
All right, we have supervisor's report. What I want to do is just kind of report a little bit on the wastewater treatment plant on Hartson's Island. I know Mr. Monte's here, and I know Mr. Schweikart here, and Mr. Schweikart has helped out with this and talked with one of the companies that's providing a bid work on this job. And I've reviewed it, and I put it in everybody's package. I hope you saw it. I was a little taken back where it wants to do a feasibility study, and this is Benish has provided this. It's May 29th, 2025. Now's the time they're going to do a feasibility study, and it only applies to 14 taps, according to what they've got here. And if you look at what they've put down here, and this wasn't put out for public bid, this is just their proposal, $335,000 in engineering that's got to be paid. And when you look at the information from DVM, it talks about $1.4 million, and it shows you what it's for. But this price is not, it's not a solid price. It's not a specific amount. It's way open. It does not include design and engineering costs, does not include algae wheel supply or installation costs, and it doesn't include what we may have to pay in wetlands. This could be far in excess of the $2 million that we have coming through this appropriations. Knowing that, and Mr. Monty can speak to some of this if we'd like, and I know Mr. Schweikart can too, but knowing this, I just think supposedly there may be a federal appropriation in September. If that appropriation comes through, we should be able to do this. But if it doesn't come through, it's going to cost more than $2 million, and how much, I don't know. But I will tell you that it's for 14 taps, which at $2 million is like $140,000 per tap, which is something to be considered. And I know people think it's like, oh, it's a grant that's coming to us, or it's an appropriation. It's still real money. And I know Mr. Schweikart would like to get going. I know people would like to get going, but I just don't think that we should make a decision on this until we find out what's going to happen with the appropriation from the federal government, which is the request amount is $2.4 million. I'm told it's in committee, but I've been told that for months. So I just wanted to bring it up to date. And if anybody has any questions for Mr. Schweikart or Mr. Monty, feel free to ask them. But I just wanted to bring you up to date on it.
That's on top of the 2 million we've already got, right?
Oh, this
Hopefully we'll get 2.4
1.4 would be out of the 2 million. It's how much more than 2 million? I don't know what it's going to be.
We've already spent a lot of the 2 million, and I don't think we know if we have to give it back or not if this project doesn't go forward.
We don't know.
So all those things are very big issues for me. And I've asked Mr. Monty, and he didn't know either. So, I mean, I think we need to know those things. It's irresponsible to keep spending money until we know.
Does anybody have any questions, Mr. Monty or Mr. Schweikart?
I'll ask Mr. Monty, where are you at with all this, your opinion?
John Monty, Project Control Engineering. So where we're at right now at this point is after we got to the point where we thought we were not going to receive any more grant money, we started to downscale the plant to get something that could just serve the downtown area of Sans Souci. So we've been working on a redesign of that to try to get this in somewhere close to the dollars that you have, or to see where it would come in at. The issue with it right now is, part of it is we are fixed. The grant money that we received does say that was earmarked based on the algae wheel process. That process is actually a little more expensive than some of the other processes that are available nowadays. However, because of the type of grant that it was and that we received, we are trying to work with that right now. We're still working on downscaling it. We're thinking we're about 2 weeks away from being able to submit drawings to Eagle for a construction permit. And at that time, we'd have the ability to bid this thing out, knowing more fixed of what's really happening. This particular proposal, obviously I read it because it was on the agenda, is very wide open. It's time and material for the engineering. It's repeating things that we've already done. The construction only includes the initial part of the collection system, which would be probably just 14 people serving the downtown area immediately. Because here again, we're trying to get this thing just started for whatever money we can. But the 1.4 million was just to do the collection system and site prep. It didn't include building the wastewater plant. So you have all the wastewater equipment that you put a deposit on. that still has to be taken into consideration. The wetland credits, the actual construction of the plant is more than just the items that you put a deposit on. So, for example, they're going to furnish the equipment, but you still have to install it all. You still have to put a greenhouse up, floor, foundation, concrete work. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. So I think this is real wide open, and I'm not sure why it was submitted, actually, at this stage. If you get to the point where you want a contractor to bid it, I think we'll be closer to that position here when we complete the downscaled version of this plan.
Did we put
So
out
that's
any
where
bid
we're at.
packets? Did we put out a bid packet yet?
No, we're finalizing those drawings to get them to Eagle. And so, once we get those to Eagle, we would be able to, or once we get approval from Eagle, you wouldn't want to bid it without their approval first. Then we could send it out to bids if you wanted to do it that way. If you wanted me to get a contractor, like this particular one was, and do it almost like it's a design build, I can do that. Typically, the process has been here at the township that we would design it and then send it out for general bids to the public bid opening.
John, is there equipment already purchased for the?
You have a deposit on equipment.
And how much is that?
Think about 300, I think the equipment was 778,000-ish, and you put a 50% deposit on it.
Okay.
So what
And are they charging us to store that equipment?
No.
Okay.
What we've asked them to do is to, because the equipment, so the question was asked, Maureen asked the question of refunding the money or doing something like that. I think that would be, personally, I don't think that'd be a good choice to try to give money back. You've already spent money on design work, you spent a lot of money on environmental work. What I'm hoping is that we can go forward with this. Maybe what happens is, maybe you do get some additional funding at some point that'll allow you to continue on with the project. If in fact that it ends up over the $2 million. My preliminary estimates, I'm feeling like it's pretty darn marginal to try to get there. So, but we're working on it. We continue to look at methods to reduce the cost to bring it in so that it's more appropriate. On the equipment that you put a deposit on, none of it's been built technically. They didn't submit any shop drawings, none of that has happened. So when I talked to them about the equipment and, hey, what would we be on the hook for if we just dropped the project? They didn't want to stop it. They said, well, we'll give you, they started to do with the redesign here of a smaller plant, was they started including more items. They didn't want to change the dollar amount, but they were adding other things, some valves and meters and other things that weren't included previously in their proposal. So they're trying as well. LG Wheel brought their proposal money down. They're trying as well to chisel it down to get it as affordable as they can as well. So we are fixed with that technology though, which, we're trying to work with to see what we can make happen.
Can you get a bid package together, either with your contractors or put it out in the public?
We would put, after we received Eagle's approval, we would put a bid package together, send it out for public bid opening. You guys typically advertise that on Mitten, and you get bids from multiple contractors.
Yeah, I just wanted to get confirmation on it. How far away are we from Eagle getting a permit? I know we've
2 weeks from us submitting construction drawings to them. So we've been working on the reduced plant and design with our mechanical, structural, with algae wheel, with all of the component processes, we've been putting that together. So we're close to submitting to Eagle. Now, Eagle's time for review, it could be several months.
I know we had the carbon credits and we had some wetland issues. Has that been resolved as far as Eagle is concerned?
I can tell you that Senator Hertel is trying to take care of the wetland issues by discussing the matter with Eagle.
Okay.
And see if we can get have them relax what they want us to do.
Explain that to me too, correct, and what we've done is, at this time, reduce the footprint of the disturbance of wetlands, which will bring the wetland mitigation credit value down considerably from the initial plan. It was much larger.
My question, and just to confirm, is if this is not feasible because it's going to be way too much money, my question to John and everyone, we've received this grant money and we have spent, I'm thinking over $1 million, or at least close to $1 million. If we can't get this project off the ground, are we going to have to refund that money? And
From here,
that's what
the
people,
money that's gone is only about 300 and I think 12,000. The other 300 is sitting with algae wheel for anything we do. It will go through algae wheel. I was unaware, even that John was still involved, in all honesty, I just sat down just now. But that 300 and some thousand, regardless of what plant goes there, will be, they don't care what we do as long as we buy it from them. That's the-
well, he's saying that we spent half of $778,000 on a deposit. We spent a lot of money on engineering, Bruce. So it's more than $300,000, because we've also spent money on engineering, and we've spent money on other things. So I'm saying it's probably $750,000 or more. And the question is, do we continue to spend money when the project may not be off the ground? Let me finish. And if it's not going to be off the ground, is the state going to ask for this money back? Because that will be all the taxpayers having to give this money back. And that's a real concern that nobody knows the answer to.
Well, unless Jerry's wrong, we still have well over 1.6 left.
But during the previous board, it was going to cost up to $6 million to get this off the ground. And I know we're trying to scale it down to 2. We're hoping we're going to get another 2 so that it's 4. But do we keep spending money not knowing if we're going to have to take it away from the taxpayers and pay it back? That's just what I want people to understand, what my questions is. I'm not trying to squash this thing, Bruce. I want it. I'm an Islander hardcore. I want us to have this. But if it's going to cost everybody money because we're not going to be able to do it, we have to act responsibly.
So it is our intent to try to scale this thing down to come within the $2 million number, correct?
Yes, that's what John's working on.
Okay, so that's my question. So how far away are we, John, from having that engineering finalized so that we know what the construction cost would be with actual bids?
So actually, like I said, in 2 weeks, we should have the initial plans completed, okay? We have to submit those to Eagle to get their approval. There could be some component or process items that Eagle may want changed. I mean, you don't know that until you go through their technical review requirements. Obviously, we're designing this to meet the NPDES permit limitations that they imposed on us. So, but there could be something in the processes that they want us to do one way or another. We won't know that until they do their review. Once they do their review, we can finalize, make any corrections or make any changes, and we can send it out for bids at that point. At least we'll have a better handle. We can even do some better estimating on it, have a better handle of where it should be at. If, in fact, there's discussion about possibly some other funds being appropriated at another time, you don't have to bid this today. I mean, it can be where you wait till you secure some additional funding for that process. So,
Do you know if there's a deadline on our grant money?
no, I don't think there is.
There's no deadline?
No.
I guess my feeling is we've come down the road this far, we've got to let John finish up and do that work.
And then we know whether to proceed or not.
Yeah, that's what we're stuck with.
Let us know when Eagle,
Well, what's
No,
PCE's bill? What's John's bill?
Hmm?
What's John's bill on this?
Well, he's got 2 more weeks, right?
Yeah, and we have time, additional time that we've spent on this with all of the team putting it together, so there is some monies
Let me know
involved.
a rough estimate if you could.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
I'll
wondering.
put one together, I'll get
Okay.
everybody's numbers and
Because, I
get you
mean,
a
the
rough
last I heard of
estimate.
it, you told them to stop working altogether.
I did.
And now we're working, we don't even know how much.
Yeah, we'll get a rough
There should
estimate.
be an up to, spend up to amount or
Yeah,
something.
we're stuck kind of, Maureen, because whether we like it or not, we should try to figure it
Exactly, I
out.
mean, I agree, but,
He's not going to gouge us. Right, John?
Absolutely not. We're doing whatever we can to get this to come in the best that we possibly can with what we have to work with here. So hopefully that ends up to be good news in the end.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bruce, you think there's anything you need to add?
Now, go up there or sit here?
You can come on up, Bruce, just, because I know you've tried to get this from Bennett, and
Yeah.
and the problem when I read it was it's so open-ended.
It is absolutely open-ended,
Yeah.
and one of the reasons I'm working hard with Benage is because I was told John was no longer working on it. I didn't know that until I walked in
Yeah,
tonight.
I told him that too.
Yeah, and,
Well, we'll
but
get to it.
Benage, what they're looking for theirs is at this moment, $20,000, just more to guarantee to do a bid on it closer. They think they can do it for the 2 million. I've actually given them the figure of 1.8 million because we don't have 2 million left of what they can do for it. I'm perfectly good with John, obviously, because we were in contact a great deal earlier, but I just want to see it keep moving. And these gentlemen have
Sure.
put a lot of time into it too. I don't know what to tell you. They want 20,000 to basically write the contract to guarantee they can do it for that price. If John can do it for that price, fine,
Let's see what happens.
yeah, so,
Okay.
Good.
Thanks, Bruce. I have nothing further. Public comments?
Good evening. My name is Cindy Pilato, and I'm speaking on behalf of SS Downtown, Inc. in regards to your line item 1E, which I think we've kind of jumped to. Our nonprofit was established in 2022 with a mission to foster a thriving, sustainable downtown that serves all of the members of our community. One of the first and most obvious challenges we identified was the lack of proper options for managing disposable waste in downtown Sans Souci. This issue has created significant barriers not only to the growth of current businesses, but also the potential for new business development, essentially leaving our town and Greater Harsons Island community at a standstill. We at SS Downtown have been particularly excited about the potential of the LG Wheel as a solution to this long-standing issue. I wanted to commend the ownership of Sans Souci Bar for their persistence not letting this opportunity fade away. Their dedication to seeking alternate solutions shows leadership and the commitment to progress. And I might add, at a financial disadvantage to their own business, they have alternative options that would singularly benefit them, but they are putting in the time and the effort for the whole community, so the whole community has the opportunity to succeed. I also recognize that there's a significant amount of skepticism in the community, both on and off the island, surrounding the LG Wheel project. Concerns about funding and ecological impact are real and valid, but many of the circulating claims have been fueled by misinformation on social media. I strongly encourage the community members to do real research, consult credible sources, and understand that there are well-established permitting processes in place to ensure that any implementation of an LG Wheel will be ecologically safe and sustainable. As for the funding, it's been wildly but incorrectly suggested that this project is being paid with local tax dollars. It's important to clarify the facts that the funding allocated to this initiative comes from resources dedicated specifically to support local development and was awarded with no strings attached. Yes, we all pay taxes, but those taxes fund many public goods that not everyone usually or use this equally. I personally pay school taxes despite not having a child in the school system for over 25 years. Equally, people without driver's licenses help fund our roads. This simply is how shared public investment works. In an effort to help alleviate the lack of public restrooms during our peak summer season, our group, SS Downtown, has funded porta potties for the public use while more permanent options are pursued. I sincerely hope that this board will approve the request that is being made by the Sans Souci tonight to move forward with a solution that can unlock the opportunity for growth in our small town. Thank you.
If there's no further public comment, we'll proceed with the consent agenda.
Hello, Artie Bryson, 8356 South Channel. I assume it was said that you probably weren't going to go forward with the Benish engineering project with DVM. Especially without going to a public bid, I'm kind of taken back why you even put it in the package. Because when it does go to public bid, their numbers are out in public now. You know, I thought you would have just waited until you were ready to go out to bid and do it at that time. It seems like there's a big miscommunication from the township with this project. He's working on it, he's not. You know, our engineering, then we get this from a different company, and construction with DVM. It kind of makes you wonder a lot of what's going on. I know DVM's a decent company. They've done work for the township in the past. They put a bid in on their water project we have going on. But there was 3 bids lower than theirs for the water project for almost like $3.5 million less. I'm glad you're just not turning over to DVM, knowing that. And the word on the street is DVM, the owner of DVM, Dan DeLoggy, he's your silent investor on your second ferry. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if you can confirm or deny. But if it is true, and here you're giving favoritism to DVM, I don't know. I got another point to make. Mr. Cassidy, you were quoted in the last meeting that you're going to have OHM here at this meeting to explain the scope and the status of the study per Mark Burchard, Trustee Mark Burchard's request. I found it interesting that HIDA, in the past, 2 or 3 times in writing, in fact, they said, hey, we have to know, we have an option on this property, because without that option, we can't do a feasibility study. Now, all of a sudden, that same feasibility study is good for the whole North Channel, including soil borings at that property. I found that to be kind of interesting, too. So, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll move on to consent agenda. Do we have a motion on that? I see Officer Shane is, part of it is registration notice?
Resignation notice.
It's, if the board doesn't know, he's one of our police officers, and he received a offer to be a police chief in another community. I've known this Shane family my whole life, and they're a very good family. It'd be sad to lose him. I'm sure he's an outstanding officer.
Says he's gone May 25th.
So do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the payroll from May 2025, board approved from 5/27/25 in between meetings, and the minutes from the 5/19, 5/27, 5/29 board meetings, and the resignation of Police Officer Schoen.
Any second? Jerry? You want to second it?
Yes, second.
All right, Jerry seconds it.
Well, there's another $10,000 for OHM advisors. I think it's on the last page, if you can read it. It's in grayscape for some reason. I
Well,
have
we
no
can
idea.
eliminate that, Mark, and
It was approved last meeting, I think.
It
It's already
was.
approved.
10,000, wait, was that part of the,
It's already, these are from last meeting.
Yeah, those are the board approved
Already
checks
board
that,
approved.
from the last meeting.
okay.
wasn't broken out?
No,
All
apparently
right,
not.
okay.
The UB refund for 6 different accounts, or 8 different accounts, I'm sorry. What was that? 148611 are the equal amounts.
Is that an in-between meetings or what?
In between meetings.
Anita
yes, I'm
is going to
sorry.
come up and explain.
I can do that, John. So Channelview purchased.
Come on up, Anita.
Sure.
Come on up.
So when Channelview purchases their water taps, they're already installed, so when they get the new water taps for their new homes, they're $1486.11 the total. And I was on vacation, and we had some temporary help in our Treasury Department, Cindy Babish, and she got the check, and when she received it, she thought that that's how they purchased their water taps and posted them to the actual accounts. Then when I got back, I noticed it, so I had to transfer that $1486.11 to our bills payable, I'll then take that money and actually pay for the water taps. So it was a mispost.
Okay.
So it was to cover the water taps that they paid for.
And are these the various account?
The
water
account
accounts?
the account numbers that are on there?
Yes.
Yes, those are actual utility bill account numbers.
Okay.
Okay?
Very good, thank
It was
you.
just a mispost I had to correct.
Okay,
Okay?
excellent.
All right.
Want a roll call on this?
Sure. Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Paul Cassidy.
Yes.
Jerry Golka,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
No.
We'll go to new business.
Like to add on to the new business?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to do 1J, hiring part-time treasury clerk, and 1K, proposal for township monthly movie night at the park, in the park.
Or in part-time what? Treasury clerk?
Treasury clerk, yes. And then 1K is proposal for township monthly movie night.
Aren't we supposed to make our amendments at the beginning of the meeting?
Yeah, usually, yeah. Well, we'll just hold off then, John.
Is the treasury clerk a new position?
No. We haven't filled it since November.
Well, we'll just put that on the table. We'll go to legal action on 7314 Ed Lane Road, go to Circuit Court. When we voted last time, which we did, we didn't make it specific for Circuit Court, and I believe we have to do that.
so I will make a motion to move forward with the legal action on the 7314 Edlin Lane to go to Circuit Court.
I'll second it. Any discussion? We'll take a vote. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. We've dealt, 1B, Building Department, elevate full-time Olivia Solomon to full-time. Is there any motion?
I'll make a motion to elevate Olivia Solomon to full-time position in the building department.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like to hold this off till the next meeting, till we get done with the budget, to see where we stand on that.
Well, I mean, she would be replacing Cindy Babish's full-time position that was the plan when we originally hired her. She is Cindy Babish's replacement in that department for a full-time position.
Do we know how much it's going to pay?
She'll come in, so July, she will be making $18.43, which is within the contract, and that's entry-level wage.
And $25,000 a year benefits, and she hasn't
Yes.
even been there 2 months. April 14th was when she was hired in. I think it's a little premature. You know, I mean, most people, it's just my opinion.
Do we have a full-time building clerk as we speak?
And she's outstanding.
We do have a full-time right now?
We
Yeah.
have Amber, who's the full-time building clerk, but there's always been 2 full-time people, and Olivia has shown great strength in that department, and they could use the support to have her there full-time hours. This is their busiest season right now, and they really need the extra help in that department to, the spring is their busiest time, spring and summer is their busiest time, and having her there, not having the support of full-time and 2 full-time people in that department is really affecting the workflow.
Well, Cindy Babish was here, and she didn't even stay in there to help. She came out here to help, you know, do other things, so.
Not during
Yep.
this time of year, she was in,
Well, it was spring. It was just a few weeks ago.
How many hours does Olivia work now?
she works around 28.
28?
My big thing is the benefits. I mean, that's another 25,000. When we don't even, she hasn't even been there 2 months to know that she has any experience yet.
Well, it is, and I
Who
mean,
oversees
how do
that?
you expect her to get the experience if we're not going to give her the more hours to help in the department?
Who oversees the building department?
I do. I oversee the building department clerks.
So I think that your recommendation comes with a little weight then. I mean, is there a reason we wouldn't want to put her full-time?
I think we should elevate her to full-time. I did put the motion on it. As far as the benefits are concerned, whether it's, you wait 60 or you wait 30 days before the minute.
She would not receive the benefits until the 90-day mark.
Yeah, 90 days. right.
So
Is that
it
the
would be
probation
90
of
days
that?
from the time she goes full-time where she would be able to receive benefits.
Right, and that's typical.
Yes.
I don't care what industry you're in.
Well, I mean, Jerry said we could wait one more meeting. I
Right,
mean,
and see what the budget, because we pretty much have the budget.
That's the only thing I'm thinking about is how this budget's going to
Well,
work
it's in the
out.
budget
Well, it's
now,
already
so-
budgeted. That was in what I proposed to you guys at our last budget
But we
meeting.
haven't finalized the budget yet.
Well, it's already in the budget for finalization, but it's in the
We've
budget
got
for
a lot
last
of
year.
work to do on that budget. I hate to
Do we
tell you.
foresee a shortage there that we wouldn't be able
I
to cover
wouldn't
that?
Predict anything one way or the other, John. I'm just going to tell you that, you know, this budget's going to take some time. I'll be working on it all week, so,
Well, I would hope so. It's, you know, July 9th or whatever it is.
Yep.
it's June.
Or, I'm sorry, June 9th.
Any further discussion? So the motion is to make it full-time. Is that right?
Yes.
You want a roll call?
Sure. Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Jerry Golka,
No.
Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
No,
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
All right, 1C, Resolution 2025-08, setting the meeting dates.
Okay, so the resolution just has all the meeting dates for the rest of for the new fiscal year. I will make a motion to approve the resolution 2025-08, setting the Township of Clay meeting dates.
Support.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
hey,
1D, conditional rezoning text amendment.
I'll take that. 'Cause, Comes out of the planning commission, comes down from St. Clair as a proposal, not a proposal, but ordinance to improve the special land use for any site plan that comes forward. Right now, it's kind of convoluted, and it's more simplified. Doesn't really mean anything, so it's actually taken say a C2 or a C3, either to R1 or R2, and especially land use, and it works for everybody.
Is that from the county?
Yeah, from the county. Came back from the county. Anybody wants to see it? I have it right
You
here.
know the difference between that and ours presently?
Well, we really don't have a procedure or a process to do that.
So this is
Well,
just,
we have special land use.
Right, but it's been...
this is just making it a clearer outline
Yeah,
of what you
it's-
can and cannot do.
It's the process that's changing.
So they'll still have to go before the zoning board to change the zone, or is it automatically done?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
Conditional rezoning was brought to our attention because of the cell phone or cell towers. And our ordinance as it presently sits really doesn't meet what the county says it should be, let alone our attorney. So we pulled information, our planner, Karen, pulled the information up, submitted it to the planning commission. We reviewed it. We, the planning commission, said we really should have our attorney look at this because X, Y, and Z needs to make sure it's legal. Karen looked at it, sent it back to us, and we sent it back up to the county. They looked at it. It's now back to you guys because you're the ones, we just make recommendations and you're the ones who approve it or don't approve it.
So this is just making clear guidelines.
Exactly. Clear
Okay.
guidelines, and we really were lacking as far as our ordinances were concerned in this particular department.
Okay.
But my question on that would be, let's say it's zone residential, they can't just automatically go and zone it commercial without
These
your
things come back
approval.
to the planning commission.
Okay, I wanted to make that clear, okay.
Says, does the proposed text amendment conflict with the St. Clair County Master Plan? Yes. That's their staff analysis.
It's a master plan, and I don't know if they're finished with, I think they're finished with the master plan. Master plan is only revision to go forward. Our master plan is right now in the works of being looked at, because you have to redo every 5 years to take a look at it. Our master plan, we probably need to do some updating from 5 years ago or 6 years ago until now. So it'll probably come in alignment more so than it should be.
All right. So our motion is specifically to allow the conditional rezoning text amendment to our zoning ordinance. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We already talked about the Harson's Island sewer collection. We don't need to cover that again. Go to 1F, Clay M29 water main improvement, including Harson's Island River crossing, bid award recommendation, Clay M29's water main improvements. Is there any motion on that?
Make a motion for 1F Clay M29 water main improvement, including Harson's Island River crossing, bid awarded recommendation.
I'll second.
All right, discussion, my only concern is, at this point, is this. I don't mind agreeing to this, but I don't think we should let it out for bid. We ought to reach an agreement.
Well, this one has already been out for bid. We're choosing which one we're picking.
I know,
Okay.
but I don't say that we say to them, do the job. The reason is we are in a 45-day period here of putting this out for public notice. People can take adverse reaction to our decision here. They could come and say, no, we don't want it. They could get enough signatures and say, put it on for a public vote.
Our 45 days is almost up.
I'm just telling you that we still have to wait, and I'm just telling you, let's wait. That's what I think.
We do have a window to accept this bid.
We're
And-
okay on it.
No, I don't think we
No, I
are.
think we are.
No, I don't think we are.
We got the bids on the 6th
On the 6th of
of May.
No, I think we have to take action at this meeting.
Okay, then let's take action, but I'm telling you that the
So-
caveat is.
So, I'm confused, though. Why would we delay it in accepting the bid?
Well, John, tomorrow you could go out and get 1,800 signatures of people that vote against, don't want it.
Okay, but we've
Then we're
went,
stuck.
why have we went through this process?
Well,
Isn't that something that should have been
We didn't address this
considered?
until the bonding issue came along. Okay, we're taking it in steps.
I disagree.
Okay, well, you can't put it out for the 45-day public notice until you've decided on a bond.
But the bond isn't specific to this project.
It's for this and.
It's for a multitude of projects.
Two projects.
Multitude of
That's
projects.
right.
This is over 9 million. So the bond, it is specific to this, right? Because we don't have 9 million.
Well, if you take
Well,
a look
keep it-
at the bids we did get, if we don't make a decision, we're going to lose some of these lower bids and end up paying more money.
And just to clarify, there's a $2.5 million grant for this project
Yes.
that comes off of that total.
Well, you know, I've had, people tell you all kinds of stuff, right? I don't know how much is true in that, but I think Paymar was a low bid on this, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And I've heard questionable information about Paymar. I know Mr. Monty can even speak to that. You know what? I'm telling you what I've heard. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. I'm just making the board aware. I've known the Accavettis forever, but I know that Digger Dan bought them. And it's not the same company it was, but
So, I'm not sure, now I'm really confused. So are we questioning the integrity of the company?
I'm not
Or-
questioning, I'm bringing to the
Or are we
board
concerned about the
information.
bonding?
Hey, listen,
or-
I don't,
What is our issue? I'm really confused.
well, the issue is, we either vote for it or we vote against it. What do you think, Claire Lance? What do you
Well,
think?
the only thing that I want to address on is, one, the issue we had when we had the break going to the island. That line going to the island, Eagle has recommended for many, many years that we put another line to the island. And I can see exactly why now, big
For sure.
time. And the other thing is, the infrastructure where we've had 3/4 of our breaks this year was the infrastructure that's going to be replaced. That 1938 line on the riverfront, that's an accident waiting to happen. Same thing with the 8-inch that runs down Point Trumbull Road.
You don't have to sell me on it, Lance. I agree with you 100%.
I mean, it's just, we're on borrowed time with that section of this system. I mean, whatever it is that whatever way we need to figure out how to fund this situation, we need to do this. I mean, we're talking water quality and everything else, plus the second line of the island, which has been recommended by the state of Michigan for years. And we're finally to that point.
And again, there's a $2.5 million grant
Yep.
that if we don't,
John, I'm
if we
just
don't
telling
use it,
you
we
what
lose it.
people tell me, and I'm bringing it to the board. Whether Mr. Bryson mentioned things today that were right off the wall, but it's.
So what are you telling me? What you're saying is off the
You're
wall?
the same. We're
What you're
both
saying is off the wall, too? That's
We're
not a
both
good
off the
comparison.
wall. All right, well, let's take a vote on it. All in favor, aye?
Well,
Aye.
we didn't pick, are we picking somebody or are we not picking
Yeah,
somebody?
we picked Paymar, wasn't it?
Okay, well, I just want to
There's no
clarify,
motion. I don't think
I mean,
there's a
there's no
motion.
motion for which company we're picking, so we need to
Well,
revise the motion.
got to be the low bid.
Okay, so,
Mr. Monty, do you have anything to add?
Yes, we gave you a recommendation letter. The recommendation letter was to award to Paymar Enterprises, and we've also established in here a budget, an overall budget for the project. So we would suggest that you approve the overall budget along with the award to Paymar. They are much lower than the other bidders. It was very competitive. We had 8 bids for the project, and I believe our current 45-day hold period is up at the end of the week.
Yeah, we're
So-
like right,
Right.
yeah.
So it'd be nice to be able to authorize them to proceed at that point.
And at the point, John, that if this project was to go forward with Paymar as the contractor, you guys will do your due diligence to hold them to the quote as the bid that was put out, correct?
Well, sure, this is what the idea is, and us doing the inspection, the overall budget of this has a contingency in it as well, along with inspection, layout, as-built, that kind of stuff.
I think where the question's coming in is the issue that we had over on Colony with the contractor that done Colony, with all the additions and everything else, where we had the problem with the contractor there. And I think that's where this is all coming about. Correct?
Sometimes it's the contractor. by
Thank
the
you.
way.
So your part of this, John, is 750, close to $800,000 is what PCE will get. The contingency at 5% is something that we may have to pay Paymar, but we're giving you $204,000 for contract administration, $408,000 roughly for inspection, and $156,000 for layout and as-bills.
Correct.
So it's almost $800,000.
That's correct.
For PCE.
It's a very large project.
So I thought that was originally built in the 8 million that we talked about before for our different projects. I mean, now it's 9.5 million. It seems like it just keeps growing. I don't know. Okay. All right, I just want to make sure I understand. Thank you.
John, real quick, did our bids come in under or at or over where we anticipated?
The bids came in a little bit over of what was originally estimated
Okay.
for the project, but this project started 2018 is when it originally started.
Yeah, prices
And
have
there's
changed
been
a little
some
bit.
substantial changes
Sure.
in materials, even the river crossing pipe and that kind of thing.
Why, John, why, if it was started in 2018, why is
Originally, that was, I'm just
2025
saying, that's when we originally started this project years ago, to start to lead up to it, waiting until, I think, one of the bonds retired, to where we'd be able to, maybe you'd be able to afford the project better. And so it's been a period of time.
So basically, it was the prior board holding off on this project to pay off a bond.
Well, not totally, I don't think.
I think it was
I
done
thought
for,
that's what he just said.
I think it was done for financial
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
We had an outstanding bond on the water plant that I think we wanted paid off before we jumped into another big project. And then also there was a period of grant application to acquire the $2.5 million grant that we got, so.
And I did put in everybody's packet kind of a rundown on what the new water rates could actually be. I think, did everybody see that? Yes. And so there is, and I went over that with Waterwork, that's their plant, their computer program. They were in agreement with what I put there. So that could be, obviously, it could cause a substantial increase in water rates.
This debt service is only like 300,000.
Yep.
Where's the 8 million or, I mean, where's the numbers that are real? I mean, this is only 300,000.
Those are my numbers.
But I mean, it's only 400,000 debt service. I mean, aren't we going
That's
to
a
have?
yearly debt service, yearly.
So what's the overall? Is the overall a $6 million bond, a $7.5 million bond? I mean, I'm confused.
Combined, everything together was 7.5 million with water and sewer, but we just put that number down, even though it was high, so the notice was sufficient that we had to give. The sewer rates are what's really going to be troublesome.
So the sewer rates here
They're really going to be troublesome.
is 3 million. So the debt service on 20 years is $238,025,
You
$226.
got, you can figure a tap amount, but you can't, usage is different for everybody. That's why it's going to be difficult. Waterworks, we talked to the guy today, he's trying to put something together, and he said he might have it at the end of today, so I'll look for it tomorrow.
What's the fixed usage right now?
Pardon me?
What's the fixed usage right now?
Fixed usage.
Yeah.
Well, all I can tell you is we got 3,115 water taps. That's how many customers we have.
How many?
3,115.
Water taps?
Sewer.
Sewer taps.
I think it's on.
Yeah, it's on here, it's on the sewer.
Yeah.
It's on here, but
I don't have that.
it's in your box.
But how you allocate depends on how much everybody's using.
Well, that's, where my position on that is. I've always advocated for, as opposed to a water or sewer rate charge, a fixed debt charge or capital charge or whatever you want to call it, because you know what those numbers are.
I think
But if you
we're going
base
to
it
end
on
up doing
rates,
that.
I'm sorry?
I think we're going to end up doing that.
Because if you base it on rates, Mr. Supervisor, you don't know
That's right.
from one year to the next who's going to use what.
I think you're right. I think that's what we're going to have to do. But it's a substantial amount of money. What do you have there, John? Here, let me look at that. It's
Can I
like,
look at that briefly, Mark? Thank you.
the low end, $1,800 a month, a quarter increase. $18
This is water.
a quarter increase. That's the lowest. Well, that's a lot of
It's
money for some
$18.50
people.
is the lowest. $18.50.
Per quarter,
Yeah,
per customer,
yes,
so $6.30 per month.
per month. That's right. I didn't know any other way to look at that, because we don't have the capacity to determine usage. And like you say, it's going to change.
That's the big unknown.
All right, so
So Jerry, did you want to amend, revise your motion to include Paymar as the bid we're accepting?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to accept Paymar Enterprise bid for the M29 water main project.
there's a second.
I seconded the motion,
All
so
right.
we can do a roll call.
Roll call.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
No.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Jerry Galka,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes.
1G, St. Clair County Parks and Recreation Commission 2025, request for a local millage distribution.
Okay, I'll handle that one. That is a revenue sharing by the county. It's going to give us $50,000 to use towards Parks and Rec services. We're going to use it pretty much for kids programs and senior programs within the township. And we have to get approval from the board to submit to get that $50,000, which we'll get in about 6 weeks.
Got a motion? Well, I'll make a motion that we take the money, $50,000. Any second?
Support.
Support? All right. Roll call?
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Jerry Galka,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer.
Yes.
All right, we've got Deputy Supervisor, Assistant Assessor, new hire Cheryl Restivo as Deputy Supervisor and Assistant
Thank you.
Assessor.
We have the trustee appointment
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry, I skipped one.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? Trustee appointments, interview and selection process.
So I think how we should handle this, I think we should allow each candidate to come up and speak for 2 minutes, a minute to 2 minutes to to address the board on why they would like the position, and then that will give us a chance to answer them any questions. They can come up one by one and go from there.
If you want to do something like that, but I have a lot of questions for people. And, it's been suggested to me by others that we should have one person in the room at a time while the others wait outside to be able to speak for themselves as opposed to based upon questions asked and answered.
Okay, so how do you want to move forward
I
with
think we ought to
this?
just have one person in at a time, and that way, each person can indicate,
Like, you
why
want
they
us to
think
go
they're a
into
good
closed
choice, and-
session? How do you want to approach this?
well, we got 11 candidates now. Apparently, Mr. Daggy is not interested anymore. We could do it in alphabetical order, ask Mr. Benagi to come up and speak.
Well, that's what I thought.
Ask him
Yeah,
some
one by
questions,
one
but
come up.
why not excuse those that are in consideration? Why interview them as a group?
That,
She said one at a time. They can speak for 2 minutes and we can ask questions. That's what she said.
That's fine, that's
but you
fine.
want the other candidates to leave the
We call
room?
it sequester. The
I
others
mean,
could
you're
just
the
have a seat out
supervisor.
in the...
Yeah, it doesn't give the other person a chance. The first person come up, you ask them a question, it gives the other person a chance to have a better answer than the
You want to put
first
the
person.
others in
I
the
agree with
conference room, Paul? You want to put the others in the conference room and have the
Sure.
police
Why don't we do
bring them
that?
out one at a time?
So
'cause they can
anybody
hear from the
interested
lobby as well.
in a candidate position, please have a seat in the conference room back there,
Have the
except for
police escort
Mr.
them in and out.
Let me
Benagi.
go turn the light on for them.
Maybe ask the officers to escort them out, in and out. Well,
Yeah, that's good. Mr. Benagi can go get,
Good evening.
Tony Westfield.
I'm good. How are you, John?
we gotta wait for Tanya. Paul, do you want the officers to escort the next one out, or do you want?
Yeah.
Well, tell the officer to do it.
I'll have it.
So I need to get the candidates one by one.
One by one.
Do you need help with that, Tanya? Bringing them out?
I don't think so. She might be okay.
All right, are you Mr. Benagi?
Yes, sir, I am.
Good evening. I guess the clerk suggests that you have a couple minutes to speak, and then we can ask you questions.
Okay, first, I just want to say that it's something that I've been interested in doing for quite a while now, getting more involved in the community, and just helping try and make the board a little more diverse.
Anything else, sir?
No, that's pretty much it.
I do have some questions for you.
Okay.
All right. You claim to have any kind of political party affiliation as either a Democrat, Republican, Independent?
Yes.
What are you?
Are we sure we should ask that question?
Why not? Why not?
If they ran for office, it would be on there if they're
I
Democrat or
understand
Republican.
that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
you claim any political party affiliation at all or not?
Republican.
And have you participated in any way with the Republican Party in the past or not?
No, sir.
I'm guessing that you've never held public office, is that
I have
correct?
not.
All right. Have you ever worked for the government?
Yes, U.S. Navy.
Pardon?
United States Navy.
Oh, all right. Did you retire from there?
No, I did 4 years.
You did a tour of duty?
Yes.
All right. What do you think's the most important thing you could bring to the board that you think would be beneficial to the community?
I would do whatever is right for the community and the residents of the community.
Okay. And are you employed right now?
Yes, sir.
What kind of work do you do?
I am a construction manager for a cable TV company.
And how long have you done that?
I'm going on 24 years with the company this year.
And what specifically do you do for the company?
I build outside network infrastructure, or are responsible for it.
Do you have employees that you oversee?
I do, employees and contractors.
How many would you say?
5 employees and 2 main contractors that we currently use.
And have you ever held a union position anywhere?
Yes, I have.
Where was that at?
It was with the company prior to the one that I'm with now. It was Ameritech New Media, which the company I'm with now currently bought that company.
I see.
And we're not union now, though.
They're not union now?
No.
You have never worked for the township, right? Does your company, either one of them, ever do work for the township?
Not
Oh,
this one.
Do you have any friends or relatives that work for the township?
I do not.
And so you've never done business with the township, is that correct?
That's correct.
What do you think's the most serious or important issue facing the township right now? Do you have an idea?
Probably the water main project.
The water main?
Yeah.
And have you ever worked on a political campaign in the past?
No, sir.
And I take it you've never been charged or anything with a crime of dishonesty or false statement, correct?
Correct.
And do you have any interest in any other position? Like, is this a stepping stone for you, or would this be it?
I would be interested in others.
You would be interested in what?
I would be interested in other positions, potentially.
Well, what I'm talking about is maybe at the county level or the state level or something. Would you ever aspire to take a position with any of those?
I honestly haven't thought about it, but I mean, I would.
If you felt you could help, right?
If I felt I could help, yes.
Sure. Have you ever been involved in any litigation at all?
No, sir. Well, with work, yes.
Through work?
Through work, yes.
Yeah, okay. You think there's anything about you that you think could be detrimental to the township?
No, I don't think so.
Have you talked to anybody on the board about applying for this position?
I have talked to you and Ms. Bory.
Okay. Is there any, when you run for a political position, you usually have a platform, like I stand for this, that's this. Is there anything that you think would be a platform for you that you think you'd like to accomplish as a board member?
Well, without having any prior experience, I don't really know the answer to that.
Yeah, okay.
But I would it would come as I learn and move on.
You have no financial interest in any company that does business with the township, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Benagi. Does anybody have questions?
So Frank, you say you have 2 contractor companies working for you?
Yes, sir.
So apparently you have a budget?
Yes, sir.
To that, and how do you manage your budget?
Pretty much the same as the township does, by line items.
Are you over budget or under budget?
Under budget. Otherwise, I wouldn't be there so long.
My question when I contacted the candidates was, the election was, 6 months ago. So most of these people, maybe all but one, did not run in the election. So that was my question. Maybe you can share that with them, why you did not run. You said you've been interested in a long time in doing something, but you didn't. We have 8,500 people in this township. Less than 20 people came forward to publicly serve. And a lot of people think this is a big paying position. We only get $5,000 a year. So that was my question, is why didn't you put your name on the ballot?
I honestly didn't think about it then.
You said you've been thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah, but I did not think about
During election time.
doing the election. I just, and I didn't have, I didn't really have a way to put myself out there.
How long would you like to serve on the board? Do you have any time where you just said, I'm done after this, or?
No, I don't, I have no set time in mind.
Anybody else?
How would you handle, you make a decision up here on the board and social media blast you? How would you handle that?
I'm not on social media, so I don't worry about
That
it.
guy.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Good for you.
Frank, I'm sorry.
Anything, John?
Frank, do you belong to any community organizations or volunteer groups or anything like that?
I do not. We do some stuff through work, help out with different programs through work, but not personally, no.
Okay.
Are your employees in the union?
No, sir.
So Frank, going out for this, you're just looking to serve the community the best way possible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What do you think you could bring to the township with your expertise in construction and?
I have a lot of other utility company contacts, because we work with Detroit Edison, we work with Consumers Energy, all the other cable companies. Just my experience with decision-making and budgeting, I think would be huge help.
So are you under a lot of pressure from your employers?
What's that?
Are you under a lot of pressure from your employers?
No, sir.
Okay.
How long have you lived in the township, Frank?
We just moved here 4 years ago.
4 years?
Yeah. Absolutely fell in love with it, which is why I want to get involved.
Any other questions?
What was your job in the Navy?
Electronics technician.
Oh, okay. That's 2 or 3 years?
4.
4 years?
Kind of follows your career then, didn't it? Your career kind of followed that.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for your time and consideration.
Frank?
Who's next, Paul?
We have Mr., is it Brassfield?
Yeah. Bransfield, Tony Bransfield.
Tony Brassfield.
Tony?
Brassfield.
Brassfield.
All right, we'd like to allot you a couple minutes to speak on your own, and then we'd have some questions for you.
Okay. Why I want to be a trustee is I want to be a better steward of the hardworking taxpayers of Clay Township that we fell in love with 6 years ago when we moved here. And I'd love to be a part of making this place great and other people jealous that they don't live here. That's pretty much why I want to do it.
How's business been for you?
Pretty good. We had a nice weekend. The weather's breaking, so we'll be in the 80s coming up towards the end. So I just priced a flat top for the thing, so I think burgers are soon coming. So, yep.
All right, I have a number of questions for you.
Sure.
Have you ever, do you claim any affiliation with any particular political party?
No.
You consider yourself an independent? then?
Very much so.
Okay. And have you ever been involved in any political involvement with any party or independent?
No, the only thing I am is I'm the president of the HOA where I live. That's about the most
That's it.
political thing I've done.
And what, you kind of told me the reason why you are asking for consideration for this opinion. Have you ever held a public office in the past?
No.
Have you ever worked for the government other than with our contract as we have with you now?
Nope, not in an official capacity, no.
What do you think, personal attributes do you think you have that would make you a good candidate?
I'm a very strong leader. I've played football growing up, so I know what it is to be a team and how to work together and work towards a common goal.
Your past employment, I think we know a little bit about that. Could you recap that for us?
Sure, I've been in the food restaurant business for the last 15 years. Right now, I'm the executive chef at Wayne State. Prior to that, I was the executive chef at East China School District for 3 years. Before that, I was the executive chef at Rochester University in Rochester, Michigan. Then you would take me into West Virginia, where I was the executive chef at Waynesburg University in Pennsylvania. And then I've worked in retirement homes and as cooks, hospitals.
Have you ever managed a restaurant or anything like that?
Like where it's mine, no, but I do have the food budget at Wayne State, which is like $5 million. I've had another $5 million count at Waynesburg, so I'm not foreign to budgets of, substantial sized budgets.
Have you ever held a union position?
No, I have not. Never been a part of a union either.
Let's see. Are you friends with anybody on the board presently?
Nope. I know Jerry, he's a neighbor. I walk by his house when my kids take a walk. He's in our little mile lap, but that's about it.
What do you think is the most important issue facing the township right now?
I just think the way we spend money. I think we can be better stewards of the money. That's my big concern. We work hard for our money, and I'd like to see it used for things that better the community and not just certain people or certain things. And
You have any plan that you think you would put in place to accomplish that?
Sure, I've talked with the 2 weeks I've spent in the concession stand. I've talked to a lot of people about the things that used to go on in this township and the park and all the events and festivals we used to have. I would love to see those things come back. When you talk to people about those things, you can see the faces light up, the kids that when they talk about it, and that's kind of what I want to do. I want to bring those things back, bring us back together as a community and stop the dividing, the fighting, and just, it doesn't accomplish anything when you're just bickering and fighting all the time.
If appointed, what would be your long-term goal in terms of any future political interests? Would you want to move up the ladder to county level or state, or would you think?
I would never say never, because never's a long time, but I would just be focused on this at hand, and if something more comes and grows out of it, then we'll let, sort of nature take its course.
Have you ever been involved in any lawsuits at all?
No. Nope. Never been to prison, never been to jail. I've
never been accused of false statement or dishonesty. Is there anything about you think would be detrimental to the township?
I don't think so. I'm a person who puts others before myself. You can ask my wife that. I'm very selfless. I want to see I'm about what's good for everyone, not myself. Because normally if you take care of the whole will take care of you.
So you've never made a bad onion ring?
Trust me, I've screwed up more than in the cooking world. They say you got to break some eggs to make omelets.
So with all these different locations that you've been in, cooking and being a chef, were you on 1099s at one time?
No, there was always
All
W.
employees?
Yep.
You a veteran?
No, I'm not.
Anybody else?
Well, can you answer the same question I asked you?
Go ahead.
If you want to ask everybody that same question. Again, it's only been 6 months since election time. We have many people who are stepping forward now. It's easy to get put in without knocking doors, putting signs out, this and that? Is there a reason why you didn't run during election? Step forward then.
Kind of, my HOAs soured me a little bit, just the infighting and wanting to do things, and then it was, my wife talked to me about it, and she's like, people like you, you're good with people and all that other stuff, why don't you try? And so, here I am, we're going to try.
You sure you want to jump into this, huh?
Well,
Might not be popular.
I've been to a few meetings, the last handful of meetings, and I question sometimes, but you've got to, if you want to be the change, sometimes you got to get dirty.
Right.
Okay.
Tony, are you involved in any community groups or volunteer groups?
Nope, right now we're just working the concession stand and getting into that and trying to get involved in.
Any children?
Yep, I have a son who's 14 and a daughter who is 9. My son goes to the high school down the street, and my daughter goes to Algonquin.
Very good.
And that's another reason, too, for my kids. I want to.
All right, I have nothing further. Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Bryson?
Had to spit his gum out.
Hello, my name's Artie Bryson. Interested in, I have a lot of, let me start first by saying I have lots of experience, probably 40 years experience of being a community-focused leader in one way or another in our area, and I'm seeking to serve as Clay Township trustee. I bring over a decade of proven municipal leadership, fiscal oversight, infrastructure development, and committed to transparent governance, responsible budgeting, and community-driven decision-making to preserve and enhance the quality of life for all township residents. I am writing this to express my interest in as trustee. I remain deeply committed to our community's long-term health and prosperity and integrity. From 2012 to 2024, I had the honor of serving as Clay Township Supervisor, where I worked diligently to ensure responsible financial stewardship, enhanced essential public service, and strengthen our community engagement. During my tenure, I managed $17 million of budgets and secured over $20 million of grant funding. I led infrastructure initiatives and road improvements, sewer and water expansion. I believe that the role of a trustee is critical in maintaining transparent governance and aligning township decisions with the best interests of our residents. If selected, I would bring a collaborative and solution-oriented approach to the board, prioritizing fiscal accountability, infrastructure planning, and open communications with the community. Clay Township has always been my home. I care deeply about preserving this unique character while preparing us for the future opportunities. I would welcome a chance to continue serving in a leadership role and continue throughout the decision-making for the benefit of all residents. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Well, we who have sat on the board with you, Artie, we don't have any questions to ask.
Okay.
We know all about you, so
Well, I have some questions, Mr. Ryson. Obviously, you were involved in litigation in the past as supervisor on the board, correct?
Oh, what kind of litigation?
Well, the fire chief, Darrell DePage, sued you and the board for wrongful discharge and of his position. Do you remember that?
I do.
And in there, he said that he acquired a SAFER grant from the government that was to be used for employees' pay and benefits. Is that correct?
Yeah, we received a SAFER grant for $700,000.
And according to Mr. DePage, who filed this lawsuit, he said that you were using that SAFER grant to pay operational costs for the township rather than the employees' wages and benefits, that it was being used to pay ferry rates.
That's his opinion.
Okay, I understand that.
The ferry did not charge the fire department at that time.
Well, he alleged that the township paid the ferry for people crossing on the ferry that actually lived on the island. It never did cross on the ferry.
Well, that's his opinion.
That isn't true.
That's right.
He also said that when he brought this to the attention of the clerk didn't care and paid the ferry rates anyway. Did the township pay the ferry rates?
No.
So that isn't true.
Right.
And in fact, he alleged that at times 3 people went over in one vehicle and the township paid as if 3 vehicles went across. Is that untrue?
I believe so.
And after complaining to the clerk about it, shortly thereafter, you called him in and fired him. Is that correct?
Fired him for different reasons than that.
Well, he said that in his pleadings, I hate to do this because I consider you a friend. We have to sever our relationship. It is effective immediately. I have full board approval. Mr. DePage asked you about that, and your response was, he asked you, what's the reason for the sudden unprecedented termination? He said that you said, because you don't get along with anybody. Is that untrue?
I don't remember saying that, but the reason I did terminate him, he was a good firefighter, but he wasn't a good chief, and he had poor administrative abilities.
And, getting that SAFER grant that he got for $700,000 was pretty poor on his part, right?
I had a large part to do with that SAFER grant, too.
He says that he actually told Valentine that it was fraudulent to pay these ferry charges, and he brought it to your attention, and your response to him was, they're not going to know that they don't cross, meaning we'll bill for these firefighters who cross, and the SAFER grant people will never know it. Is that true?
That's a lie.
Okay. So knowing all of that, and it's all untrue, you did settle the lawsuit, didn't you?
The insurance company settled the lawsuit.
You settled the lawsuit because you had to sign it.
Yes, but it was an insurance company.
Yep.
You know how that works.
And paid him every penny of his contract and benefits for the rest of his contract. Is that correct?
I don't believe that's correct. There was an undisclosed amount that he got paid for.
Well, no, it's disclosed in this settlement. It's his final 2 years of his contract and his benefits. So he was such a liar and so deceptive that the township settled to pay him every penny that he would earn over the next couple years.
The insurance company told the township, they recommended we took the settlement amount. They said we have an excellent case, but they said the problem is, and I'm sure you know this, if $1 is awarded to the plaintiff,
they get actual attorney fees.
That we would be responsible for all the attorney fees, which would probably be 3 times higher than what we were going to settle at. And so the insurance company and their attorney advised us it'd be best, they believe it was best for the township to take the settlement.
So if I fire people like the building inspector, I said I was going to fire him, we shouldn't worry about it. The insurance company will pay for it, right?
I wouldn't say that myself,
I wouldn't say it either.
but I believe there is just cause. In fact, if you wanted to interview the other department heads, but at that time, on the relationship between him and the rest of the township, you would be it would open your eyes.
Well, I can tell you that having read his lawsuit, I would be afraid of paying $1 because I know I'd have to pay it based upon what he said here.
Can I object to this interview?
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
This is ridiculous. You're putting him in a court case.
Sir, do you want to have a seat outside?
Just speed it up.
Well, tell me what to do.
The same questions you asked everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, no one else had this lawsuit. He did. And it cost.
Township, no, I didn't, the township did.
Who fired him? You did.
That's right,
Yeah.
justly too.
So you say. I have nothing further.
Aren't you going to ask the rest of the questions?
Oh,
Is it
well, I
public
could ask
hearing?
some questions like, you gave the playscape to HISPA, you couldn't do that.
And you know what?
You know that?
You know what? It was $22,000, and like I said, I take care of all of the residents, what I believe is best, and I would do it again tomorrow. You know
But
why?
the law was the law. The
What?
law said it had to be
Yeah, it had to
fair
come for
market value
compensation.
or thrown out. It
Well,
cannot
we
be
don't
given
get to
away.
decide, I don't get to
Right.
decide I'm going to give my
I
church.
do it again
20
tomorrow.
grand.
I
That's
think we need to
fine.
stay on
That's
task.
fine.
Yeah, they're enjoying this. I don't mind it.
You want
because-
to have a position to.
That's right.
Well,
With our
okay, well,
funds
let's, how are you and I going to work together
Move on.
when we have a lawsuit between us, right?
That's your lawsuit.
Yeah, and it's caused by you telling people that several prosecutors told me that Paul Cassidy took bribes.
It's true.
Yeah, who are they?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, there you go. There's transparency for you, ma'am.
That's right.
There's transparency for you.
Let's move this on.
I'm not going to tell anybody.
Personal vendetta is what you're doing right
Yeah.
now. This is an interview.
Do you want to have a seat outside, sir?
Maybe you should.
So is that the best you have?
Really?
No, just taking money and spending it improperly for the ferry service?
And you want
Yeah.
to.
Paying ferry rates for somebody that didn't cross?
No, never happens. It's a
Yeah,
lie.
that's what you say. but
Okay, I
that's
think we
fine.
should
It's
just
a
move
lie.
on to the next.
You're a liar.
The playscape, plus you spent another $33,000 to have it installed of taxpayer money,
You know why? It was 22,000.
plus repairs.
Yes, right. And it was fully board approved. And I didn't want the association to install that by themselves, not knowing how to do that. It's very complicated to install. I would not sleep well at night tonight if I knew that wasn't installed properly.
Okay, Mr.
So, they bought the playscape from Clay Township after it was
They did
installed.
not buy it.
Yes, they did,
No.
for $1.
You can, it's
Okay.
fair market value is the law.
No.
And why didn't you have a foundation that you use, why didn't your foundation purchase it for?
Paul, can you let the police know that we're not
I
going
would
to
do
take...
the same thing today for
Can you
that.
let the police know we're not going to take...
Mr. Bryson? Mr. Bryson? Hey, okay,
I listen to the people.
There
As
you
a
go.
trustee, I would continue to listen to you.
There you go.
Jen, if I rob a bank and I give it to a bunch of people that need money,
That's okay.
that's okay? So I can go rob a bank and give it to people that need money, and that's okay.
Apples and
That's what
oranges,
you
Jerry.
did to the township.
No.
No, you robbed the township of money to give to...
Do you have any questions?
Okay, I think everybody knows how everyone feels right now. I think we should move on to the next candidate.
Let's go. We're talking to, let's see who we have next.
Thank you, Mr. Bryson.
Cheers.
Sarah
Yes.
Clements.
Thank you.
Do I stay here or?
Yeah, you can stay here now.
Stick around.
Yeah.
You can cheer with your group.
Are you going to ask that we keep order, Paul? Because this is a little bit too much.
Sarah Clements, please.
That's best to have.
You have the right, we were giving everybody a couple minutes to speak if you'd like to.
Okay. I'm Sarah Clements. I come today as a resident who loves our township. I've chose to raise my family here, and I love to tell my friends and family out of town about the community that I love and showing them off when they come to town. Specifically, my in-laws are all in Texas, so it's really great to go from the desert in the busy Dallas-Fort Worth area to come here and see everything that we have to offer, and they love coming to visit. I feel that this is a great community. It's beautiful, it's safe, we're all supportive of one another, and I'm really glad to be a part of it. But our town needs to be brought back together. I think I have a unique ability to do just that. It's no secret that I can be outspoken, but that just proves that I'm very passionate. My dedication to doing what's best for everyone can be proven by me spending nearly my entire adult life as a social worker, giving back and helping those in need and those that are less fortunate. I'm able to get people to work together even in the most difficult situations. I've personally reached out to several board members asking for us to come together and that we can be do more positive together than being at each other's throats all the time. And I'll continue to encourage and foster just that, even when I don't receive a response. I value a difference in opinion. I think everyone having their own thought process and beliefs allows everyone's voices to be heard. I have no problem humbling myself if I'm proven wrong. I also think that being, quote, younger, not too young, also allows me to reach a different group of residents. I may be able to bring new ideas and different perspectives that maybe weren't thought of before. Regardless of if I'm selected or not, I want our township to come together. The bitterness on social media, the spreading of inaccurate information, and the constant divide is taking its toll on everyone. I just want our community to thrive, and I would love the opportunity to be a part of that.
Thank you. Do you have, do you feel you have a political party affiliation, like Republican, Democrat, or Independent?
It depends on the day. It changes. I would say that I'm
Kind of independent then?
probably, yeah, I'm socially liberal and fiscally conservative. That's what I always have said.
Have you ever participated in any political party functions?
I guess specifically if you mean, like, I assisted with the write-in campaign, just on election day. I was out there with.
Well, I mean, like, as a Republican or a Democrat, have you ever worked on anyone's campaign, other than the write-in?
Just that, and then I helped count votes at the last election, on Harson's Island.
And I take it you've never held public office?
I have not.
And you work for the government?
I work for the state of Michigan, yes.
Yeah. How long have you worked with them?
I started with the state back in 2011, and I left for 2 years when I worked for myself. I worked for myself for a year as a sales director with Mary Kay, so totally different. But I did build myself up and built my own business to be able to leave my state job. I was able to stay home with my now 9-year-old son for the first 6 months of his life before I decided to go back to work. I worked for a private agency before going back to the state a year later, and I've been back at the state since 2017.
Do you like it, being back there?
I do. I love the work that I do. It's very, very hard work, and it is definitely a thankless job.
You do work here on Clay Township as part of your job?
I do not. I actually work in Detroit.
In where?
In Wayne County.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been there. not doing what you've done. What attributes do you think you bring to this job? What do you think's the most important thing you can bring to it?
I think that I have the ability to bring people together that don't, because I can listen, let me reword this. I have spent, as you can see my resume, I've spent nearly my entire adult life as a social worker working in an area where people don't always agree with decisions that have to be made. People aren't always nice. Like I said, it's a thankless job, but it's incredibly rewarding. And I think that having that, being able to have that calm nature, to step back and really look at the whole picture, and do what's best. I can make decisions based on what's best for the whole instead of just individually.
Did you,
if that makes sense.
Did you have to testify a lot down there on your casework?
Prior to me becoming a supervisor, yes, I spent a lot of time in courtrooms in Macomb County, St. Clair County, Sanilac County, Wayne County.
Did you have to prepare reports of your investigations and then
Yes.
testify to them?
Yes, I had to, we do court reports, we have to write petitions.
Are you in a union position now, or?
Yes.
It is? What do you think of that?
I think that it has its benefits. But I also think on the flip side, it has its negatives. It just really depends. I think that a lot of the times it can protect people who aren't necessarily doing the work that they need to do, but at the same time, it allows, like the pay and the benefits, it allows things to be negotiated so they're more fair than what they would be if that a union wasn't in place. So I can see the benefits and the negatives of both.
So what would you say is the most important issue facing Clay Township?
As we stand today, I think that we've all seen a huge divide in our community. We see, I think that there's been a lack of actually taking a step back and listening to residents and hearing what they're saying and what they want. I also think there's been too much, for lack of a better way of putting it, crap on social media. That's just made it not a great environment for people, and it's been a lot of misinformation on, I'll say both sides of the coin, and it's just, I think, so bringing our community back together and building that trust back in the community is, because I don't think that the community trusts the board right now.
And do you think there's anything detrimental about yourself that coming to the board would be a negative?
I don't know that it would be a negative, but I think that people already have their opinions on who I am or what I represent or what I want for this township based on prior interactions, and I think that could be a negative.
I have nothing further. Anybody else have anything?
How long have you lived here, Sarah?
I bought my house in Clay Township at the beginning of 2021. I lived in Algonac prior to that, but I was born and raised in Marine City. So Clay specifically 2021, but in the area my entire life.
Okay. Any children in the school district?
I do. I have a high schooler, an elementary student, and a almost 2-year-old, so I have the full.
Got your hands full.
Yeah.
Do you belong to any community groups or volunteer groups or anything like that?
I do not. No.
The election was 6 months ago, but you didn't run. Is there a reason why you want to have the position now, but decided you would not run?
Honestly, it wasn't on my radar at that point. I really wasn't involved a whole lot in the politics of our community until the election is really when I started to get involved and started to pay attention and notice. Shame on me for not being a part of it sooner. I should have. But I was not ever one to really engage in politics in general. Like, I had my own feelings, I had my own opinions about like national politics and state politics, but it was not something that I really engaged in. And then once I started paying more attention and seeing what's happening, that's when I really realized that, okay, maybe I could be some benefit here.
How's your organization skills?
I would say they're really good. In my career, you have to be. You have to be able to maintain deadlines. You have to be able to submit reports timely. You have to be able, you have to be 5 places at once most days. So
Describe the worst person you ever worked with.
the worst person, I don't know that that's probably not appropriate to share in a room full of people. Unfortunately, in my career, I see really positive things, but I also have seen the worst and the worst of humanity.
Would you say with the profession you're in, it gives you the ability to have a very open mind to all types of situations, and you can take a look at a community as a whole?
Absolutely.
Okay, Sarah, I have a question for you. You mentioned listening to the community. Okay, so let's say when it's re-election time, you run for re-election, and you have a campaign, and you promise something, and you say, this is what I'm running for, and the people vote for you, and then you get a block of people that's saying, we don't want this, we don't want this. What do? Do you go with the block of people now that say they don't want it, or do you keep your campaign promise?
I think that when you pay attention to the community as a whole, I know that, can I be specific in responding to you? Because I obviously know what you're talking about. I think that your campaign promise, one of your campaign promises was to look into getting a second ferry system. And I think that probably was not the only reason you were elected to be sitting where you're sitting now. And I think that you say it's a block of people, but I see new people come in at every township board meeting, people I don't know, people you don't know, people I'm sure no one on the board knows, and many residents from Harson's Island that come in and express their concern about the second ferry system. And like I have said before, I don't think that it's the second ferry that's the issue. I think that residents don't want the township to fund a second ferry. But I think, to get back to your question, is that I think your promises can change. You were elected on wanting the second ferry system, but just as your ideas and opinions can change, so can residents. And maybe what you thought was something that was really important to people, I think it could be really important to take a step back and maybe reach out to more than just I think that your campaign promises, while you need to uphold what you said, but I also think it's as important, if not more important, to listen to your constituents that are coming to you every other week and talking to you about what they want or what they don't want. And I think it's really important for people to feel respected and to feel heard, and I don't think they always feel that way.
There's 8,500 people. We hear from maybe 100 at the most.
But we all have the same opportunity to be here. We still all
A
have,
lot of people are afraid to come
And
out.
there are people that are worried about retaliation. I get a lot of emails that, please don't mention my name, I'm for you.
well, I mean, I'm here today and I have voiced my opinion. Do I think I'm a good option for this trustee position? I do, but I'm fearful that I wouldn't have the support of the 3 of you today, but I'm still here because it's important to me.
Anybody else? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have Marge Harris.
Are we going to vote like you said on the paper later? Because I don't know if I brought.
I don't care, we can just go one at a time.
Well, do somebody just want to make a motion, maybe?
Why don't we just do the paper like you said later? I don't know. That way see if there's 4 for anybody and then take it from there. Because there's a lot of people to motion.
Well, we don't have to motion everybody. We could just, if somebody really feels like they want someone, you can make the motion to appoint that person and see where it falls.
I like the idea on the paper, but that's me, you guys decide. Maybe take a vote on it.
Hello.
How are you?
We're giving people a couple minutes to speak if they'd like, and then we'd ask you questions.
Okay, just want me to talk about myself and what I do?
Whatever you think's important, you want us to know.
Okay, well, I'm probably born and raised, well, I was born in 66, and we moved here in 67, so I was kind of born and raised here. So I graduated from high school in Algonac, left here and went to Chesterfield and raised my 2 children there who are now grown and moved on, but came back about 4 years ago. Loved what I seen, what was going on here. I loved the changes because my parents still live here. My sister, my brother, both my brothers live here. So I loved all the changes going on. It just kind of drew me back into the area. And then I decided that I wanted to get involved in the public service. So I joined the board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, our Zoning Board of Appeals, about a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And the position of the planning opened up, and so I decided to jump on that one too. So I'm on both. I'm the liaison between planning and zoning, so I kind of do both now. And I'm also a business owner. I own 2 businesses right now. I also sell real estate full-time. I own a trucking business. We keep our trucks in Casco Township. I have owned a kitchen design center in Royal Oak. So I have a business mind. I was a licensed appraiser for a few years back in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, that area, that timeline, and then decided to sell real estate full-time. So I understand housing and taxes and assessments and setbacks. I understand businesses. I'm pro-business. I believe our town needs more business. I like to keep it still small, but we got to have, I think, more for people to want to move here. I'd love to see more families moving here. And families want stuff. They like to have amenities, but we still want to keep our town small. And so I'd like to see the township go in that direction a little more. And whatever else. I think I gave you the whole thing.
All right, I have a few questions. Do you believe do you claim any party affiliation as either Republican, Democrat, or independent?
Yes, I would say I am a centered Republican.
And have you ever run for public office in the past?
No.
Have you ever helped anybody on a political campaign in the past?
No, not in any kind of capacity.
You've never held a public office other than ZBA?
And planning.
And planning?
And planning.
Okay. Do you do work for the government in your businesses?
No.
You don't do any work for Clay Township, correct?
No, just planning and zoning.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I mean is your businesses don't do any work for Clay.
Trucking company.
Oh, I have a trucking company. We keep it in Casco. We're kind of all over the place. I sell real estate.
Well, I mean for the township itself.
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
okay.
No, I do not.
What's the most important thing you would bring to the board if you were selected?
I would say, what's the most important? I would say my knowledge of businesses, and
I'm in town all the time. I can see and I talk to everybody and what they want. I would like to be a voice for them, what they like to see going on in this town. I'm also business-minded, so I understand. I think running a town is like running a business. We have to think about where the money's coming from, who's paying for it, who's, what kind of grants can we get so it doesn't, tax our township. So, I'm interested in pretty much keeping with, kind of what we have going on here. I love seeing what we've done in the park. And that I already am on planning and zoning. I already bring that to the board as well because I understand how the board meetings work and understand kind of the rules that go along with that. So,
Do you think a business owner should be given greater consideration by their township than a private citizen?
Not necessarily. That was just my.
You think they should all be treated the same?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
How many people do you manage in your businesses?
How many contractors? I also flip professionally, so I flip houses professionally, so I manage a lot of people when I'm doing that. So I have to, I have in my trucking business currently 4 drivers.
Mm-hmm. Are these union positions?
No, they are not.
Have you ever been in a union?
No, I have never. I've started real estate in 2003, and prior to that, I was a dental hygienist for 14 years.
What do you think is the most important issue facing the township right now?
Oh, my gosh. I think bringing the township together. It's been very tumultuous. And bringing the township together and calming the fires that seem to be going around town is just all I hear about when I'm out and about. But I also think helping the sewers that we have that are failing, we got to figure out where the money's going to come for that, and probably growth. We need to bring businesses. There's a lot of empty businesses here, so I'd like to see more businesses come in here, kind of give us better tax base.
It's I'm bringing this up because I've seen it. There are people on Harson's Island that think that the mainland gets everything. And there are people on the mainland that think Harson's Island gets everything. And we have to make some decisions about financing of some of these projects.
Right.
Now, Harson's Island may be underwater on their sewage treatment plant.
Right.
Do we take that from the mainland, or do we try to work something financial out there? You got any idea?
Think? Besides looking for state money?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, at some point, I think, everybody's going to have to contribute to everything.
Because one community, do you?
Yes. Yeah.
There's people that think that the board should not spend any money on a ferry, and there's people that really don't care one way or the other, but nobody, so far as I know, has ever voiced a board opinion that we spend taxpayer money from the mainland for a ferry. Have you heard anything opposite that?
What are you asking me? Are you thinking that?
Well, have people told you that the board's going to spend tax dollars on a ferry? That is township tax dollars? Have you heard that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the ferry. How can you not? It's been, that you're talking about a second ferry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear it's very divided. I would love to see why we need a second ferry and where the money comes from for the second ferry. Are the people being taxed for the second ferry?
Well, that's the rumor, but it's not true.
Right. So, yeah, that's what I think
Are you
that
trying
needs-
to get like her point of view on the ferry?
No, I'm not really, just wondering if she was
I think that definitely needs to be dove into a little bit deeper, and I think it needs to be a little bit more transparent
I have nothing.
on
You can
that.
complete the fifth on that question if you want to.
Okay.
Margie, do you belong to any community groups or volunteer groups?
Besides real estate groups? Yeah, no.
Oh.
Mm-mm. But, well, and the planning and
Planning and
zoning.
ZBA.
And the ZBA, so, yeah.
Is there a reason, I mean, it's only been 6-7 months since the election, is there a reason you didn't run for trustee since you're wanting the position now?
I would have loved to have ran then. I wasn't ready. I had actually just sold my kitchen design center. I had a little bit on my plate. This isn't a position that I think can be taken like part-time. I think you really need to have time for a position like this. It feels like it's an investigative position. You're constantly investigating things, and it takes time. It's not something that you just show up at the board and you just read your papers and decide then. It's an onion that needs to be peeled back for weeks before the meeting.
And you only get $5,000 a year, you know that. So
Right.
it takes a
And
lot of
it's not
time.
literally about,
But,
Yeah.
you're volunteering with a lot of ZBA planning
yeah.
commission, so maybe
Well,
one
I
of
know
those
I
might
would
have to
have
give to do this,
Right.
I don't know.
I think they've already said I would need to remove myself from planning, because obviously we already have representation for planning, so I would have to remove myself from planning. And
Yeah, there's a
I've-
lot of time involved, yeah.
And I've been doing ZBA for over a year, so it's not that difficult on ZBA, but I think the trustee board and everybody, this is way more time-consuming, and it shouldn't be taken lightly.
Well, we
So I
appreciate all you do.
have a lot more time now. I mean, the trucking company me and my husband run it, so I do billing. It's not like I'm taken away from a lot, and I work for myself. I've been doing real estate for a long time. I'm not putting my name on a billboard anywhere. I pretty much work with friends and family on that, so it's not like something that I wouldn't have time for
Great.
and be able to dedicate time to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
According to your resume, you're pretty busy all the time,
Yeah.
and this won't be anything different. Are you familiar with the Michigan Trustee Association?
What is it?
Michigan Trustee Association.
It's Township Association, MTA,
MTA.
Michigan Township Association.
Am I familiar with it? Or did you ask if I'm familiar with it?
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you familiar with it? You know what it is?
Yeah, isn't it regarding all the trustees belong to that? Yeah, regarding
Basically,
Michigan.
we have a book that thick.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Describes everything in there, so
Right.
you have to be familiar with that. I'm sure you can handle something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be kind of like when you're in real estate. Do you know everything in real estate that's to do with real estate? You kind of do after you've been doing it for a long time, but when you have certain cases that are ahead of you, that's when you kind of start digging in to the rules and what have you on that, because you're not going to be able to see.
Every day is different. in real
Every day
estate.
is different, yeah.
And this is, every agenda is different.
It's absolutely different. I've been to a few
Nothing-
meetings, it's very different. Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Okay, is that it?
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
We're looking for Roy Martin. Roy Martin?
Roy Martin.
You sure didn't go through this when we chose the last trustee. A different ballgame there.
Mr. Martin, you have the opportunity to speak for a couple minutes on your own, then we'll ask you some questions.
All right. Roy Martin, Algonac High School graduate, lived in Clay Township my whole life. Born and raised here, family's been here forever. I owned a home improvement business, currently own a Colony Bowl. Sit on the DDA as far as the board, probably for 10 years. Want to help support the township and be involved in the community.
You claim to have any political party affiliation as either a Republican, Democrat, or Independent?
I've always voted for whoever I felt was doing the job the best.
Okay. So you've never participated in any political functions other than by your vote, right?
No.
Okay. And
I have hosted political functions. If somebody wanted to pay me to use my facility,
Sure.
I did do that.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that.
No, you gotta make it every way you can.
Have you ever held a public position in the past?
Just on the DDA.
Yeah, okay. And do you do any work for the government with your improvement business or not?
No, I no longer do the home improvement. When I bought the bowling alley, I
Full-time?
let my builder's license go at the time. I was focused on getting that up because I purchased it out of foreclosure. And then time-wise of getting the bowling alley up and what have you, I didn't have time to go through the continuing education for the builder's license.
Besides being a home improvement builder, have you held any other employment positions?
No.
Have you ever worked for a union?
No.
And in your business, how many people do you manage now? Roughly?
Right now, roughly, probably 10, 12.
And you've never worked for the township, correct?
No, I've never worked for a
You
township.
don't have family or friends that work for the township, do you, or do you?
I have family and friends, obviously. I'm from here. I'm related to half of the people in this town, so it's hard to say yes and no. I do have family and friends that work here.
Okay.
Now, with running the bowling alley, you do a lot of community events through there, right? You support
Oh,
the
absolutely. I
schools,
support
the kids.
every community event that comes through here. I've donated to every possible, anybody that ever needs money, trust me, they come to the Colony Bowl and say, hey, can I have money for this? Can I have money for that? Fundraisers, very, very community driven. And that's part of the reason why I purchased the bowling alley, because I grew up here. That's all there was to do. And without the bowling alley, this community was, I hate to say it, it's pretty much a staple of Clay Township. That's, if you have something to do, birthday parties, everything. That's part of the reason why I wanted the bowling alley.
Serve alcohol there at the bar?
Correct.
If you were appointed, would you serve and run again in the future, or?
Absolutely.
Do you have any aspirations to a higher office at all?
Not as a time being now.
Okay. Have you ever been involved with any lawsuits?
No.
And do you have a financial interest with any business or person that does business with the township?
Not that I would be aware of.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Does anybody else?
Mine was the same for everybody. I mean, elections was only 6-7 months ago. Is there a reason why you didn't run?
I didn't feel that I needed to run. I had you guys to vote for. It was at that point in time. And I obviously have a seat come available. And like I said, I have one of the biggest community centers in Clay Township that's, be part of.
Okay.
So
Roy, I know you do a lot for the community. Do you belong to any specific community groups or volunteer?
not off hand,
You got your hands full doing what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your biggest asset as far as personality and?
Personality? If you find a person that does not like me, I'd be quite surprised. You should have them
raise your hand.
introduce them. Honest. You're not going to get much more honest guy than myself.
You have quite a recommendation from people that I've talked to.
Correct. Yeah, like I said, my whole family's been here from, I think Grandpa started the Algonac Clay Township years ago. I got people that are related to, I don't even know I'm related to.
Question for you. You've got property next to you that the township owns.
Correct.
What would you like to see in there?
I would like to see, I'm open to that. I never really thought of that. Obviously, whatever does go in there does affect my business. Obviously, if there's people there, they're gonna be coming over to eat, they're gonna get drinks, they're gonna come in and have a drink. I never had nothing that was, well, that should be put there. I just kind of went with it. I know when we bought the bowling alley, I tried purchasing that, and he wanted way too much for it. And if I would've got what Township would've, I'd probably owned it. But, that was only so I could do something as a go-kart track or something in that effect that I'd capitalize on.
Right.
But just thinking of whatever, community garden, I always make jokes about it. Hey, I'd be able to run over there and get my vegetables for breakfast in the morning, so. But, and I offered power, I offered electricity, anything that you need for the community garden that's over there. I'm willing to work with the board on it, whether you guys, however, that offer was there, prior board, this board, I'm here to make the community go forward, and that's what I look for.
Oh, and you also said you do a lot of donations?
Correct.
We need donations for the water.
I donate to that. I got 3 meters there.
Is that a bribe?
So.
Did you ask him anything about unions?
About what?
Union.
Unions, yeah, he said he's never been in one. I have nothing further, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. We have Vincent Miliato.
Vincent Miliano.
I have to take a bathroom break pretty soon.
I'll second that one.
I know.
Want to take a break?
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe after Vincent.
Let's do that.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Let's take Vincent first and then
Okay.
have the bathroom
All
break.
right. All right.
How many do we have altogether? 12?
6 more.
So 6 down, 6 to go.
I knew that. Who is that? Yeah, I know that. I know. Yes.
How we doing tonight?
Well, we're giving people a couple minutes to talk, and then we ask them questions.
Okay. Well, my name is Vince Miliotto. I've been an Island resident for just over a year now, and came from Clinton Township. Don't really have any background in politics, and just wanted to get my feet wet. I know Miss Maureen asked me what my interest was and why didn't I run a campaign. I was busy moving into the house and the job, and kind of constrained. But now I have some time, and think I can help the community out.
All right. Do you consider yourself a member of any certain political party, Republican, Democrat, Independent?
I'd say probably Republican, but kind of lean more towards liberal because I get along with just about anybody. If I can talk to anybody, I can associate with them. I don't know about being constrained to one specific party.
Have you ever done any, have you ever been politically active with any particular party?
No, not on any record of any sort.
Okay. Have you ever held a public office in the past?
No.
And have you worked for the government?
No.
What do you think is the most important attribute you would bring toward this appointment?
I'm a people person, like working with my community, trying to get people's opinions, see what kind of works out for them, what benefits them would benefit probably me in most of the decisions that I would come up with. Just basically a listener and a thinker than a doer. I've always been a worker bee, so kind of play my cards the way that everybody would. I'd show my hand, I bet you, the best of that I can say. Everybody knows exactly where I'm thinking because I ask a lot of questions and they know exactly where I'm going towards.
And In your past work, have you ever had to manage people?
Yes. Currently, I manage probably like 25 employees, and then I've been doing that for about 2.5 years, and then 5 years prior to that, I ran about 15 employees over at a gas dock down the Detroit River.
You worked at Champions for a while, right?
Yes, 3 years.
What caused you to leave Champions?
I'm still there.
Oh, are you still there?
Yes.
You realize they do business with the township. You wouldn't be able to...
I'd
make
recuse
decisions.
everything from the township that I would have to be involved with. And I also would hope that the township would expect that I'm here for myself and not for the ferry. I applied for the position, the ferry did not.
What do you think's the most important issue facing the township?
Probably the water.
The water problem?
Yeah. I have a few others on my list, but water's probably the big thing.
Sewer?
Yeah.
I think you're right. Do you have any interest, do you aspire to go to any other job other than this, or would you be thinking, geez, I think I'd run for a countywide position or something?
That I don't know. Don't have any experience in politics, and I want to help out my community. I've just became a Lions member. I tried for SS Downtown Inc., and it just wasn't my calling or my timing for it. The township position became available, and it's just something I figured I'd take a shot at.
Do you have anything you think would be detrimental about yourself to the township?
Probably my opening my mouth. I've been doing really well with trying to think before I speak, so I would ask my fellow board members and then talk with my community, come up with the best idea before I would come to any rash decision.
Have you talked to any board members about applying for this position?
I talked to them after I applied to it. Just to let them know that I put my name in, that I was interested in the position.
I have nothing further.
So you, how are you with the union? You a union steward or just?
Not a union steward. I'm not really for the unions, I guess. I believe that anybody can go out and get a job that's a union. It's keeping it that makes the person. So I'm always feel you keep your job by your work ethic, and I pretty much keep a work ethic that's above everybody else. So that, you know, with what I do, I try to work 150%. I know I'm getting up there in age. I've got a lot of broken bones, but I still show up every day. One of the first ones to come, one of the last ones to leave.
Would that be your best asset?
It'd be one asset. I don't know if it'd be the best.
What is the best? Do you have a definition on that?
Again, I'm a people person. I love talking to people, getting to know what they do. So I've always believed my talking is what is my best attribute.
Now, you're a mechanic over there, right?
Somewhat.
Okay.
And that's just one of my many hats.
So how are you with complex problems?
I'm a figure-outer. I mean, you start one spot, and then you just keep working your way down the ladder until you figure it out. I mean, I'd love to say I'm a brilliant mind and I can do a lot of different things, but that job will keep you on your toes. I'll give you that. I believe this one will too, but it's just I got enough time in a day that I can add a few more hours to my plate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you, Vince.
Take a 5-minute break.
Make a motion, do we have to make a motion to do that?
I don't know.
I make a motion to take a 5-minute bathroom break.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who brought dinner?
Hey, Anita?
Okay, before you came.
Had I known, I would have, Mark.
We got a microwave in here somewhere, I think. There's only 2 bathrooms in this place, John. So.
I know, I was just thinking. I'm going to PD.
So Don Raines is next.
I think we need Don Raines.
Anita, can you grab Don Raines for us? Yes, thank you. You're good, you're good. Take your time.
Put on, yeah.
I opened the door, now I'm cold.
Hello. Hello. I guess we're giving you a couple minutes to introduce yourself and tell us something about you, and then we'll have some questions for you.
All right. My name's Don Raines. Me and my family moved out here in 1990, lived on the island. Once I started having my family, my kids got older, we moved off the island, moved to Algonac. I got involved with the community with the Little League for about 11 years. I was on the board on Little League. I'm also area and zone chairman of Ducks Unlimited in this area. I do a lot with Ducks Unlimited. I own my own business. I have a body shop, paint cars. I bring kids in, teach them stuff too at my shop, and that's not. I'm not good about talking about myself. So
Did your father own your business before you?
No, he did not.
Oh, you started it?
Yep.
Well, I have some questions for you.
Okay.
As far as a political party, do you espouse that you're a part of Republican, Democrat, Independent?
Republican.
And have you ever held public office in the past?
No, I have not.
Have you ever run for anything?
No, I have not.
Have you ever assisted in anybody's campaign in the past?
No, I have not.
What do you think is the most important thing you could bring to this board?
I'm community driven. I love our community. I think even me being on the board and that on Ducks Unlimited, that could be advantage to our community with, getting our foot in the door for Phragmites and grants from DU and stuff like that.
Have you done anything about Phragmites at all?
I have, I've written for grants.
Have you?
Yeah. I was part of Artie when he was for the Marsh Master. I wrote a big article and stuff for that. I'm involved, always involved on stuff around here. We got a project going on Harson's Island right now.
On the Phragmites?
Yeah, DU does, yep. It's kind of what they wanted to do at St. John's. DU tried to do something several years ago, but now they're doing it on the island at a smaller scale to show that it will work.
Who's spearheading that?
The island chap, Ducks Unlimited.
Oh, so the Eagle isn't helping you out, or the DNR?
DNR is assisting over there.
Yeah.
Eagle is actually the one that squashed our project over here on St. John's Marsh.
Which, okay.
They squashed it or washed it?
They put too many regulations in it that we couldn't afford to do it.
Eagle?
Yep.
They don't want us doing it.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous what they wanted us to do.
Do you do any work for the township in your business?
No, I have not.
Do you have any friends or relatives that work for the township?
I have friends, I have acquaintances, yes.
Small community, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What do you think is the most important issue facing the township?
Just everyone get along, Don't, we're a small community, we gotta stay together, regardless. I mean, people are gonna bump heads, of course, but we just need to get past that and get along.
And you've never worked on another political campaign, correct?
No.
If you were appointed by the board, do you have any intentions of maybe trying to move up the ladder to a different political position, or would you be happy to be a board member?
I'd just be happy to be a board member in our community.
Have you ever been involved in any lawsuits?
No.
do you have any financial interest with anyone or any company that does business with Clay Township?
No.
I don't have any other questions.
Don, I see you everywhere.
Right.
You know, like you see me everywhere,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Whether it's in Elginak or where, or Lions Club, you name it. What do you think your best suit is if you become a trustee?
I listen to what people have to say, as I do with Ducks Unlimited and the Little League, and just through town, owning my own business, I listen to everybody, Like you say, you see me all over town, I'm involved with something constantly, so.
Always.
I just did the car show on Sunday at Colony Bowl. I'm very involved in bringing stuff to the community,
Other questions?
That's all I had.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
I guess we're going to see Beverly Rose?
Bev Rose.
Huh?
I was telling Anita who to get.
Oh. Well, you have a couple minutes to just talk to us.
Okay. My name's Beverly Rose. I live on Benoit Road. I've been here since 1985. In 1988, I joined the fire department, and I made it to the rank of lieutenant there. I just retired 30 years with Clay Township Police as dispatch, then dispatch supervisor. I have 7 grandkids. 3 go to school here, 4 kids of my own.
I have a few questions. Do you espouse that you're a typical Republican, Democrat, or Independent?
I am usually go Republican, but I tend to lean more towards independent.
Yeah, okay. And have you ever participated in a political campaign in the past?
Yes, I have.
And how long ago was that?
The last one I did was for a friend of mine in New Baltimore a couple years ago. The very first one I did was when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
I campaigned for Dick Searle.
For Dick Searle?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever held a public office in the past, an elective office?
No, I have not.
What do you think is the best and most important thing you could bring to this job?
I think the most important thing that I can bring to the job is an unbiased opinion.
Now, you've had to manage a number of people in the past?
I have.
Okay. Have you ever held a union position?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And we know your background with the township. Do you have any aspirations to be in any other position than this? I mean, would you think, well, maybe I'll run for township, county commissioner or something?
No, that's, I would probably end up divorced if I tried to take Dave Vandenbosch's job. And I kind of like my life how it is.
You think there's anything about you that'd be detrimental to the township?
Absolutely not.
And I guess I have nothing further.
Bev, I know you quite a bit. You've been golden as a dispatcher for all these years and in the fire department. I would put my life in your hands, basically.
Thank you.
And I think I have, so.
Thank you. That's quite a compliment.
I retired from AT&T and I went back. I had to wait 6 months. The company switched names or owners. There isn't anything here where you had to wait 6 months, is there?
Only the original job I left.
Okay.
So
I
you're
can't go
full.
back to dispatching or
Okay.
a dispatch supervisor job.
She's at that mark on the 14th anyways.
Good, okay,
Yeah, they separate it between government and
okay.
employee.
Good. Okay, just was worried about that. I'm gonna vote you in. and have
Anybody
a-
else? I think that's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Wendy Shiner.
So you get a couple minutes to tell us about yourself.
Well, hello, Board. My name is Wendy Shiner. I'm currently at 994 North Channel Drive on Harson's Island. We moved in last April. Previously, we were residents of Clay Township back in the mid, 2005 to 2010. So we had 2 children out there, and we moved out of the township just temporarily and missed it, so just recently moved back. Currently, I'm a mother of 2 boys and my husband. We all live together still on the island. Currently also, just some of my history. I've been on several boards per what was on my resume. A couple of them I was president of 2 of the high school boards that I was on, kind of managing all of the senior activities. I also was on the Harvest Meadows board as the board secretary for my old subdivision that we just moved from. I was assistant coach for my son's robotics team from 5th to 12th grade, so I managed all of the robotics competitions and, to include out-of-state nationals. So that's something that I'm very organized, communicative, I'm ambitious just to get the job done. I'm currently a product support manager for logistics at Selfridge for the Department of the Army, and there I manage 13 employees. Currently, I have a few vacancies that I'm trying to fill, so I definitely manage my budget, my, cost schedule and performance for the government, so that's something that I'm very passionate about to make sure I'm not overspending or over-requirementing, people to do something that I can't get done. Some of my other interests are just, I truly love the area. I love shopping locally, whether it's flowers or going to Sansui for dinner twice a week. My oldest son works there now just because we want to be involved in the community. Yesterday, my whole family played at the baseball game at the field, against Algonac, and it was just something we're very loving of the community, and I just really would like to be part of it, even to be on the board, just to make a difference for the residents of the community as well as for my family and myself, just to try to support your team on the board. I'm trying to think of anything else. Other than that, I have just some visions that I would like to talk about. I don't know what kind of questions you guys have, but I just have just
Well,
some.
we can ask you some
some things.
questions, and we'll try
Okay.
to leave them open-ended so you can...
Yeah, no problem.
Do you have any political party affiliation with, like, a Republican, Democrat, Independent?
I'm kind of neutral in that. I think there's good qualities of both sides, so I prefer not to answer just one side or the other.
Yep. Have you ever participated in any political campaigns?
No, sir.
And have you ever held a public position in the past? I mean, aside from, I know you work at Selfridge.
Public position, no. Just besides like the boards, things like
Yeah.
that, and then just at, working for the Army at Selfridge.
How many people do you manage over there?
I have a team of 13 currently.
Have you ever held a union position?
No, sir.
Do you deal with unions at all in
Yes,
your job?
yes. My past, I was at GM for 15 years, so we dealt with the union big time there as a designer. I was not part of the union, but we had a lot of union representation. And then also for the government, we have a very strong union there for all workers. Even though you don't pay your dues, they still support you when, there's any, like, we all know just with the current way life is, with Doge and things like that, there's a lot of calls to the union lately, just to make sure there's no rifts going on or anything, so there's been just some concerns there.
Do you, you've never done business with the township, though, in any of your jobs?
Not currently, no.
Have you in the past?
Not with Clay Township per se.
I'm talking Clay. What do you think is the most important issue facing the township right now?
Personally, I think, and this is something I was going to bring up, is when we used to live here, downtown Algonac was thriving a lot more. I mean, I was getting scripts from CVS or Rite Aid. I was shopping, or I was eating at the Coney Island, or things were thriving, and now, I'm not sure what happened. We moved out for 12 years, and I came back, and three-quarters of the businesses are gone. But then, in the area right here, it's thriving more, like this beautiful park, and the new equipment, and things like that. So I guess part of me it's sad to see that, but I think it's something that also is something that I was very involved in with the robotics team, is I did all the business plans, I did the grants, and I walked around the community to get sponsors to help support our team, because we couldn't fund it ourselves. So that's definitely something that I'm very knowledgeable in. So I think that could be a benefit to your board, with that knowledge behind me.
You think there's anything detrimental about you that you think would cause you difficulty in being a board member?
Negative. No, this is what I am. I'm a people person, I'm communicative, organized, and very proactive in everything I do.
I have nothing for you.
Are you working right now?
Yes, I am.
What are you doing?
Yep, I am product support manager at Selfridge for the
that's
Army.
right, yeah. You said you work at GM in design?
Yes, I was a senior designer at General Motors from the mid-'90s.
Okay, what years were that?
Gosh, well, I've been at TACOM 18 years, so 18 years minus 2005, like 2007. So I would say from like 93 to 2007.
Good. Were you at the design center?
Yes, I was at the tech center, and that's where I met my husband at.
I was at the design center for 3 years, from 91 through 94.
Yeah, I was at Engineering West.
Why do you think
It's the
she
building I
quit,
was at.
Mark?
Huh?
Why do you think she quit?
Hey, I had nothing to do with it.
Yep.
So what's your vision?
I just want to bring more to the community. I want to help you guys just understand like what we can do, either with state grants, federal grants, something that we can beautify the township more. And this could also be on the island as well. Since I live on the island, I think things are actually improving on the island. Like downtown with Sansui and with more businesses opening up. I think it's making a positive impact to the people. And I'm involved in the garden club there. We're joining the Lions Club. I play Chunko on Monday nights with the ladies. So I'm very involved in any type of organization on the island, just to meet people. And I guess
You tried the pickleball course?
that's one thing I still have to try is pickleball, which I do want to try. So I've already talked to Patty and Lori on that. Great. Any other questions?
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome, everyone. Thank you for your support.
Thanks for sitting in that room forever.
Skip, Torno. Or Wayne.
You get two minutes to tell us about yourself. We pretty much everybody I think knows you, Skip. But
Yeah, I think you guys pretty much all know me. Maybe John not so much, but anyway, I think I bring a wealth of experience, to the board. I've been in local politics 20 years, both the trustee in Romeo, Historic District Commission, I was chairman of that for about 3 years, on it for 12. Planning Commission in Bruce Township, Contractor Review Board, HIDA out here, and now Planning Commission. I think we have a beautiful community. There's so much potential here, so much nice things to do. What I don't like is the division that I'm seeing now. We got to get past that somehow. We got to get back to being one community and just draw everything together. I think one of the priorities I would have is taking a look at some of our ordinances. Some of them that I've gotten into the weeds on don't make a lot of sense to me. The noise ordinance in particular. And I think enforcement of the ordinances needs to be consistent and fair to everybody. I haven't seen that so much since we've been out here. So that's about my priorities: fiscal responsibility, making sure we're spending the money right, using it on the right things. So.
Was your position in Romeo, was that a nonpartisan position?
Correct.
You consider yourself affiliated with one party over another?
Nope, I consider myself an independent.
Are you working now?
No, I'm retired. I've been retired 5 years.
Where did you work at?
I worked automotive industry for 48 years in automotive paint. I had 15 years at General Motors as a department head in an assembly plant when I was 33 years old. Went from there to the supply side. Company kept getting bought out, but it was primarily paint on plastics. It was NB coatings, bought by Roman Haas and bought by Nippon Paint. Went from there to Valspar, was a global OEM business director. Spent some time in Europe with Roman Haas, lived in Germany for 4 years. Retired, Valspar was bought in by Sherwin-Williams, so I ended up retiring out of Sherwin-Williams.
All right. I have nothing further.
Did you ever work at the BOC plant in Hamtramck?
I was down there some. I was at the tech center for, I think, about 4 or 5 years.
At the paint mods in the BOC plant?
Nope, I wasn't there. I spent a lot of time starting up Orion and Wentzville, and then I ended up going out as the paint area manager up at Riata.
You've been pretty active moving around in different, within the companies.
Right. Yeah, we got good at moving.
Pardon?
We got good at moving.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Is there a reason that you didn't run, like in 7 months ago, to try to get trustee position?
I've checked that box in Romeo doing the running, and I've got some health issues with my back. I'm not going to be out pounding the streets. That's just, I've been there, done that, and, I'm pretty limited now. I've had a hard time walking, so.
Getting your word out was going to be difficult, but, this is a little different. You bring experience, okay.
I have nothing further. Anybody else? Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Skip.
Charles Wheeler. Charles.
Charles Wheeler?
The last guy in the room.
It's going to be hard to figure who that is.
Maybe he has a friend in there.
Yeah. So he's not all alone.
Last but not least, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah, how's everyone doing?
Good. We're giving everybody a couple minutes to speak, and then we'll ask you some questions.
All right. I'm Charles Wheeler. I'm a resident of this town. I'm a proud resident of Clay Township. I live on Lee Street. I'm here tonight because I want to serve the community as your next township trustee, and I believe my background, my work ethic, and my deep commitment to the township makes me the right person for the job. For the last 15 years, I've been the president of R&L Consulting, a firm that I built from the ground up. Through that work, I've helped business owners across Michigan, many right here in our own community. understand how to manage money wisely, grow sustainably, and navigate complicated systems. I understand budgets, I understand planning, and I understand how to solve problems efficiently without wasting time or tax dollars. In addition to consulting, I own Riverside Gypsy, a small business in Algonac that focuses on local retail and vendor partnerships. Running a storefront in today's economy means staying organized, adapting quickly, and making decisions that affect not only my own livelihood, but the vendors and family who rely on that space. I don't just talk about responsibility, I live it every day. I manage teams, I oversee payroll, deal with regulations, and work directly with local and state systems for years. I've kept my staff for over a decade because I believe in leading with fairness, clarity, and consistency. I'm not afraid of hard conversations, and I don't shy away from making tough calls when it's for the good of the people that I serve. But more importantly, I care deeply about the community. I wasn't asked to step up, I chose to because I see the value in strong local leadership. I know how much Clay Township means to the people who live here, and I want to make sure the voices are heard and respected at every board meeting. I want to help to preserve what makes this place special, also while helping us grow. I'm here to help the township move forward with transparency, integrity, and common sense. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Do you claim any certain political party affiliation as a Republican, Democrat, Independent?
I'd say independent.
Okay. Have you ever run for public office before?
I have not.
Have you ever participated in anyone's campaign for public office?
I have not.
And have you ever worked for the government?
I have not.
Do you manage a number of people in your employment?
Yep, roughly around 60 people.
How many?
60.
60 people?
Yep.
And what actually do you do? You're consulting, what kind of consulting?
So we own and operate a lot of different retail. So we grow businesses, we start businesses. There's a lot of people that they come into my office and I help them start their LLCs, and I teach them on how to navigate through running their businesses. And then on that, and then we own a lot of retail.
You do?
Yep.
You do business with the township itself here at Clay?
No, not directly.
No.
I have a brick and mortar in Algonac. But that would be the furthest.
Is that where your office is?
Yes. I have partnered up with different things in town, like the community garden. Anywhere somebody wants help, I'll always partner, and I always have.
You came to our ice rink party, right?
Yep, I was there.
Yeah, he was selling things at the,
Yeah, the ice fest. They gave us a lot of help other than,
right.
they were really helpful.
What do you think is the most important issue facing the township today?
The most important, a divided community, along with, I don't want to say finance. I'd say the biggest problem would be a divided community.
We got to make some tough decisions on water and sewer coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to anybody on the board about applying for this position?
Not beforehand.
Okay.
Just talk to me about, we talked on the phone, remember, and I asked you about why you didn't run.
Oh,
I was asking everybody that question, so.
So, Maureen and Mark Bouchard, I both talked to. I had received a phone call.
All right. I have nothing further.
Well, it's hard for me to ask you what your best asset is, because I think you just told everything about being consulting work and running businesses and everything, but I'll let you say it in your own words.
My value is I'm a patient person. I work through any obstacles. I put all the information on the table, and I don't look to just solve the problem for tomorrow, but how does this affect the township in 10 years from now? I like to look at strategy and the bigger picture and not a short-term picture.
think time for all this work?
I have a great staff. I'm very privileged to I have two great assistants that run the majority of my businesses. Same thing with Riverside. I have a great local team there that run it. And that's what I've always been. I've been a company builder, and then I move on.
All right, I have nothing further. Anybody?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thanks, Charles.
I had proposed initially that we just indicate on a piece of paper separately people that we think we could support and hopefully narrow it all down, but, I mean, if you want to handle these one at a time, we can do that too. If we narrowed it down, we would have to then maybe have a discussion over who we narrow. You can support someone, fine. If you can't, you don't have to. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I would narrowing it down.
I'd like to narrow it down too.
What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, narrow it down.
John?
How are we going to narrow it down?
Well, we'll just put yes by anybody we think we can support.
As many as you
It's
want.
not a vote, it's just who do we think we could support, and if someone's got 4 or 5 votes, then we can discuss for those that have enough votes already, or enough support.
If there's 3 or less, there's no
Not
use.
to be an election.
So I'll make a motion that we use these sheets and write down how many we want to, who we would vote for, and put them all together in time. You can see who has 4 or more, and then we can discuss from there and make that motion.
Pardon? Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Who supported?
I support it.
So we're just going to mark them?
Just put yeses or
Just put yes
circle
by
them, or
anybody you think you could
whatever
be
you want to
supportive.
do. Can we just fold them over, or whatever? I don't know.
Are you guys just gonna pass them down this way and I can tally?
Yeah.
How many yeses can we put down?
As many as you want.
Mark.
Put them all down, Mark, if you want.
Oh, sure.
That's what I did.
Time is it? 9 o'clock.
That's hard, really hard.
It is. It's good interviews.
Hard.
Really good people.
A lot of good people.
Okay, we got it narrowed down to 4 people.
Pardon?
We got it narrowed down to 4 people. Do you want me to just announce them?
Just write it down, give it to everybody.
Anybody get 5 votes or something, or 6
Do
votes?
we well, there was one who got more votes, the most votes. So,
Probably vote on that one first, right?
I mean, we've got 1, 2,
Pardon?
3, 1, 3,
I did it right in.
4, and then mine was 5.
And, okay, and then,
Yeah.
go ahead, what do you,
Mine was 5, and then,
who else got 4? Anybody?
yep, 1, 2, 3, or no, she got the most, and then everybody else got 3.
Everyone got 3?
This one had the most with 5.
And who else had, anybody with 4?
3. No.
Only
Most
only one person got 5?
Wow.
Nobody else got 4, so if
Right.
they don't have 4, there's no use voting on them.
Well, why don't we talk about it then, because it was, Mrs. Rose got 5 votes.
Well, I make a motion to appoint Bev Rose as trustee.
Second.
All right, let's take a roll call.
Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Jerry Galka.
Yes.
Congratulations, Beverly Rose.
So we can continue on with the agenda here. Let's see here. So, 1I, Deputy Supervisor, Assistant Assessor, new hire Cheryl Restivo as Deputy Supervisor and Assistant Assessor. I sent everybody a package with her resume. Now, it was my intention, when I did that, was that she would be a full-time employee, entitled to benefits that she would get the assessor pay, and my thinking was to give her $20,000 as a assistant deputy. And I talked to,
You mean deputy supervisor?
as a deputy supervisor, and I've talked with an employee at the township that thinks that that would be unfair and hurt morale to pay her at that much money. And we don't truly have a position, calling it a full-time position, as an assistant, as a deputy supervisor and a assistant assessor. So anybody have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's two separate positions, correct? I mean, I don't think it can be combined.
Well, I don't know that it can't, it just, we would have to make it that.
Well, so, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I understand it, the position prior to certification being acquired is a union contract job.
Yes, I think for her as assessor, yes.
So I don't see that flying by the union as being a combination job.
Well, I had the discussion today with one of our employees in the union, and that was troubled by it, because felt that, first off, as a assistant assessor, a part-time assessor, she would not be entitled to any benefits.
Well,
the assistant assessor position is full-time.
Pardon me?
The assistant assessor position is a full-time position.
Well, I thought it was only part-time.
No, it's a full-time position.
Oh, then that's where we can...
My concern is having her, I mean, if you're expecting her to do part-time hours in the supervisor's office, how's she going to fulfill the full-time hours and give the assessing?
As I said, I thought it was part-time, Tanya.
Yeah, I'm just expressing my concerns about if we're going, we need to make sure all of our departments are supported.
Yeah. And I think if it's a full-time position, now the other people, like, for example, one person is a clerk but has a stipend for being a assistant deputy treasurer. So we could come to some sort of agreement on that, I would think.
Is she okay with taking on this role, coming in as entry level, and, I mean, she wouldn't be able to be the assistant assessor off the bat. She would have to go through the training. Okay.
She knows that.
So I'm assuming,
It is posted. It's been posted. Yeah.
I'm assuming we took applications,
We did, yes.
interviews?
You guys interviewed her.
But,
Oh, yeah, I interviewed her.
but there was a
No,
couple
no, no.
other resumes that I don't think received interviews.
That's what I'm saying, have we interviewed multiple people or multiple applicants?
I didn't because of the way I thought I was going to structure it, but maybe we can't do it that way. You know what I mean? If it's going to be a full-time assessor job, that's a little different now. I guess we could, if she wanted to be a deputy supervisor, we could pay her a stipend like we pay the other people.
Which is, we moved it to 10,000 in
I don't,
in the budget.
personally, I don't believe in stipends. I think people should be on, whatever they make, and I think that our deputy treasurer shouldn't be on a stipend. That should be part of her salary, and getting her retirement based on that, and so forth.
Well, this says a salary.
I agree, I said that because
For deputy supervisor.
Yeah.
For the deputy supervisor, I don't believe she should be paid more than a township trustee, period.
Well,
The deputy
we've
clerk and the
agreed to
deputy treasurer
pay
pay.
So currently, we pay our deputy treasurer and deputy clerk $4,100 a year.
No,
Currently, we do.
no, they're over $6,000. And we
No,
just,
we pay the clerk, yeah.
and we just voted to move that to 10 grand in
We
the
upped
budget
that
meeting.
to 10,000 per person.
In the budget meeting, Jerry wanted to
talked
pay her
about it.
12
We
grand.
talked about it, we didn't, it
don't think-
hasn't
Well, we
been
haven't
voted on yet.
finalized the budget.
There was no vote.
That was just a,
So, is it a stipend or is it a salary that we're looking at for the deputy supervisor?
In my opinion, you call it whatever you want, but I think for everybody in the township working, they ought to be earning a salary, not stipend.
Well, I think the deputy supervisor is a different application though, because that's, you know,
I think the deputy clerk, the deputy treasurer, and the deputy supervisor should all, whatever they're getting paid extra should be
well, wait a minute.
the same,
You're talking-
whatever it
You're talking
is.
about the
or
deputy
called the
supervisor only
same
working 20
salary
hours.
or stipend.
whoa,
Well,
how do
wait a
we even
minute.
know it's 20 hours? I mean,
Wait a minute.
it could be 0 hours.
We pay our deputy clerk and that, they earn money as a clerk, and then they get a stipend for the rest of it.
But our deputy clerk
They're all doing the
works
same thing.
in the clerk's office, and our
Yeah.
deputy treasurer works in the treasurer's
Right.
office. The deputy supervisor, under your proposal, will work in the assessor's office.
And the main job of the supervisor is assessing.
His assessor, head assessor.
The
Understood.
township supervisor's the chief
Understood.
assessing officer.
Understood.
So I thought, that's why I thought a combination of the two would make sense.
But she has no current certification, right?
None.
That's why she starts as assistant.
Well, I mean, technically,
Why
she
don't we
wouldn't be, she
just,
can I
can't
ask
become
another
the
que-
assistant
yeah.
assessor until she gets those certifications. So
Yeah.
she will just be an office clerk until she receives her certifications, coming in at base pay, which is normal for that type of job. It can be an entry-level job until they get their certifications. Then, when they become the assistant assessor, the contract changes.
You want to, think we should just table it until we got
So I have
we
a,
still have our budget meeting to deal with.
no, I understand that. I do have a question though, and this is not to be, this is with all due respect. What is the reason that we need, or you're asking for a deputy supervisor?
Yeah, so I think one of the big reasons was brought up here today. We need someone to go through all our ordinances, and they need to be rewritten. Now, I don't want to pay a lawyer to do that, but I can give her direction on what to do. That's one thing. I think also that a consideration for whether or not we're going to do a senior center, and what efforts we should make toward that. But those are maybe two of the most, and I talked to Tanya about, she's getting inundated with FOIA requests. And I thought, well, maybe a deputy supervisor could do that as well.
well, she's only limited to statutory duties that you have, not non-statutory duties.
Well, she would be
We would have to look into making her the FOIA coordinator, which is another stipend pay.
Yeah.
That's open.
Well, this is what my thoughts were. We absolutely have to redo all the ordinance in this township.
What ordinance are you talking about? 26?
All of them. They're not the building
Oh, okay.
but all the other ordinances.
We can have a free hand at that.
Well, and I think there's some ordinances that we should pass, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree with it, yeah. I do too. That should be all revised, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just curious on the applications and interviews, because how do we know that we don't have somebody out there who may even have certification for this position?
That's the other issue.
It's like that for anything, John.
They weren't on the resumes, were they, Tanya?
We had 2 resumes, Bonnie and I looked at them, and then I was informed that he had already picked someone.
Yeah. Because I
Did they
thought I
have
had
the
the authority to do
certifications?
that.
I don't remember offhand.
Yeah.
You have the authority to appoint a deputy supervisor, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we can interview 2 other people, that's fine.
But I'm just talking about the rest of the position.
Yeah. Why don't we just table it and we'll address it on the next meeting?
So we're going to postpone, you want to make a motion to postpone until the next meeting?
Yes.
Are you making that motion?
I am.
Okay, I can second that.
And you know what, nothing against Mr. Steve, I don't know her. I'm just
No,
asking.
I know that. Hey, listen, I don't know her other than to have interviewed her.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not, it doesn't come, I have no idea who she is, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
the process is what I'm
Yeah.
asking.
All right.
She's been involved with some of our community stuff.
All in favor of tabling it? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments?
I'm Patty Kernahan, 2670 Cottage Lane, Marine. Do not mention my name or my husband's death again. It's not on your board, and you've been doing it. So, you stop. I will get a court order if I have to. What you did was it's just wrong. And I don't want you mentioning my name or Terry's death again.
Brute? Oh, Anita?
Getting your exercise in, Bruce.
I am getting my exercise. I'm getting my steps in tonight. I'm Anita Rizeppa, you know that, Deputy Treasurer. I just want to set the record straight on the current stipend amount for Deputy Treasurer and Deputy Clerk is not $6,000. The current amount is $4,105 annually. And full disclosure, full transparency, it is my understanding that during the budget workshops, that it has been discussed to increase the Deputy Clerk and the Deputy Treasurer's stipend to $10,000 for the next budget year. It has not yet been voted on, so it has not been finalized. So I just wanted to set that record straight for the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bruce Swikart, now representing the downtown business of San Souci. I need some direction. I don't work here, so I've been sometimes 2 meetings a day, both on the island and off, with the company that gave this proposal. John and I worked for a long time on it. If I haven't heard from John in a month, understood he was not working on it. I need direction. Do I tell this company tomorrow they're out, they can't play in the sandbox now?
That's not it at all, Bruce.
No, I'm asking. I need the direction.
I read their proposal. It's totally open-ended. It allows for all kinds of add-ons. Now,
Okay, I
Mr.
understand.
Bryson mentioned today, now Monty's got the advantage of knowing what they do, but this proposal is not much of a proposal.
I'm not being argumentative about it.
Yeah, and so I welcome Mr. Monty giving us a proposal.
Absolutely, but do I tell this company they're still
They're
in
not
the...
out of it.
Okay, then how do I present it
Well,
to
you
them?
can tell them that what they did provide, Bruce, was too open-ended. I mean, I personally know Dan DeLegge, and I read what he wrote there, and you know, when you read what he wrote, I thought, wow, this is, there's too many variables. And if Dan DeLegge wants to say, I'll live with this, and these people, but what these people want from us initially is to do, pardon my use of the words, feasibility study, but the first thing they want to do is charge 20 grand to do a feasibility study. Well, you know what? I don't need a feasibility study anymore.
I think the feasibility and I'm not even saying because I can't speak for them, but not so much a feasibility study, what that is to say, after that, whether they can come in under $2 million.
Let them say that to us, because I'm going to tell Mr. Monty the same thing. Show me what it is, what I get for what we spend our money on. Once we know, if they do better than Mr. Monty, fine, we'll go with them. But
I know we're fine working with John. It's just I got blindsided walking in here tonight.
Here's my concern too: is we're waiting for federal funds here. Maybe if we get these federal funds, it will relax
daily.
It will relax this matter a little bit.
Regardless, I kind of just really need a direct.
I'm just telling you this. You can tell them we want specific numbers. If they want to come up with specific numbers and say, this is what we'll do for this.
I think John would agree with me on this. No one can come up with specific numbers at this point without Eagle somehow stepping in and tell us mitigation costs.
I think both of them have done enough work with Eagle to have, and now I could be wrong, correct me, John, but I think you've all done enough work with Eagle to anticipate what's going to happen. What they're going to want.
What price will be? You don't mind me asking, putting you on the spot, but
I don't have a final price on it yet. There could be some stuff that Eagle jumps in on and asks us to do different, so I'm not really positive.
My understanding is between 41 and 230,000. That's a big.
Well, and here's the other thing, Bruce. We got wetland mitigation.
That's what I'm referring to. 41 to 200 and some thousand.
And so, Senator Hertel is trying to work with Eagle to get us out of that.
I understand that too. But how can you give a price if you don't know if you're going to have to pay that or not?
Well, okay. You know what? I mean, you can't just leave it open-ended. It just can't be as open-ended as.
How about I present it this way to both, if I still have a say in this, they give us a price not including Eagle, both of them, because they all have to use the algae wheel, because that's the catchphrase with all this.
You think about that, Mr. Monty?
Well, I'm not sure. Part of what we talked about before was getting a set of plans available so that anybody could competitively bid it. So I don't know if you're asking me to get a contractor to bid it similar to the way that proposal was. I mean,
that's what he did. He went to Dan DeLegge and said, give me a price.
I mean, the way we typically handle an infrastructure project.
Pardon me?
The way we typically handle, the township typically handles an infrastructure project is the engineer designs it, and then it's put out for bid to multiple contractors, and then we take our best price.
I know that, but this whole thing's been a catastrophe, in my opinion.
It really has. John, can I just address that for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
That the whole idea of a design, first off, John and Dan are both bidding the same thing because you can only use algae wheel.
Right.
So you can bring in 12 different ones, but who's going to be the one who designs the system? John, I'm fine with. Dan, I'm fine with. Like I say, I was surprised to see John was still in it because I was told he wasn't. Well,
I think he was told to
I told him to work on it. Hold off.
Let's put it this way. I've had no contact with him for a month, and these other guys have been flying around me like bees. So,
I mean, I don't know if that's John's fault, but.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not saying, no, we get along fine.
And we did talk about downscaling too, so that changed.
That's why I say,
the
to
problem.
bid this at this
Right.
point, to keep you guys informed, what we've done is taken, now this is what the Stan and some other guys I've talked to, is, you doing that?
You still on
my hand.
airplane mode?
Do we want to tell Mr. Monty to finish the engineering, and then we'll put it out for bid? You know, because, well, you know, I've known John a long time, he's done a lot of engineering for me personally. But when it went from 2 to 4.4 to, everything,
I agree.
and I thought, we gotta,
Since I know John will know,
we gotta stand on solid ground here.
well, know what
That's
I'm
all.
saying on this though, but this other outfit, and I'm sure Mr. Monty here will be doing the same thing. But how we're designing this, and been trying to design it over the last month, is as small as possible, 14 hookups, but design it in such a way it can be added on to, which Algae Wheel says this is a very common thing. They're doing ones currently around the country doing the same thing. So if more money comes in, but every time I talk to them, in all honesty, they're getting less and less confident that the money, it's been allocated, it did pass Congress, it is in committee for the Senate, and currently with the Senate, it is very iffy because of spending.
Okay, maybe we should come into the office, because this is public comment time, and we're not really supposed to be going back and forth.
No, you're right.
Well, it is an odd
Yeah,
situation.
so maybe we can have you come into the office and
He's been in
figure it
there.
out
He
from
can come
there.
in, but maybe we should,
Set something up.
do we want
Yeah.
Mr. Monty to continue work, or do we want to tell him, just hold off?
I would say continue.
What do you think?
That's my, continue what he's doing.
It is public comment, but you got to have, if you want to keep going, somebody has to continue.
That's right, you're right.
Well, I think that has to be on the next agenda. We have to have a board vote.
All right. Look,
Going to change the subject, though. So I just wanted to go back to the water main project that you awarded. So tonight, your actual vote was to award to Paymar, but you didn't approve the overall budget. So wondering if that was your intention, or you going to pick that up?
well, we didn't do it, but we'll do it next meeting, John.
Got it. Okay.
Are we okay on our
Yeah.
45-day window?
We are for the award.
Okay.
So we'll send them a notice of award.
Do we want John to continue working on this?
Well,
We're not taking a vote, I just, because I'll tell him myself.
okay.
Well, how much have we already spent in engineering?
Yeah, well, he knows that.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going back to start from scratch, right?
I think we're
We
further
might as
than
well tell him
anyone
to
could be.
complete his engineering.
And then we can put it out for bid?
Yeah.
Is that your,
That's what I think we
Mr.
should do.
Supervisor? Okay.
I think that's what we should do.
I thought we already settled it, so, I don't know.
I thought it was
Why it
voted
came
on
back
as
up.
there, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Stieber, and I reside at 7111 March Street on Harson's Island. My concern is regarding the upcoming liquidation of our special assessment road repair and maintenance fund by the township. All Marsh Street residents received notification from the township last week that this road fund account will be liquidated, and we will all receive credit on our July 1 summer tax bill. We received no prior notice that this was going to take place. When the township discontinued taking the funds from the residents back in 2017, the road maintenance managers were informed that they could draw from the remaining funds until the money was depleted from the account. The residents were under the assumption that the township would hold the funds until the account was fully depleted. Had we known that the township was going to liquidate the account, we would have scheduled future projects to utilize those funds. As it is, we are currently awaiting an invoice from the contractor for gravel that was previously ordered for road maintenance. The questions we have are, what is the reason for the road repair and maintenance fund being liquidated at this time? And what is the current account balance of our road fund that the township has on file? In closing, we are hoping that the township will consider our circumstances and reverse the July 1, 2025 property tax refund, or at the minimum, delay the property tax refund for all Marsh Street residents until the December 2025 winter tax bill to allow us to expedite future road maintenance. Thank you for your time.
Susie Pryor, Harson's Island. I know this has obviously been talked about a lot today, the LG wheel, and I just kind of wanted to follow up. I think, Maureen, you kind of made a mention. I understand there's concerns for budget to make this project happen, but I think one of the points that Bruce was trying to make is we have to look at alternatives of how to make this overall project cost less and then worry about getting the money. But if we stop and don't do anything in the meantime, then you have no project to work towards, financially. So I'd like to hopefully have the board put it on to the next agenda to make a decision one way or the other. Is John Monty and PCE moving forward with coming up with plans, or can they get their budget approved to move forward with another team? Because the worst thing that can happen is just a standstill. We can't plan or work for, a more affordable version of this plant if nobody's working on it. And then there's no point of getting the money if there's no plan in place. So I would ask that you guys put it on the next agenda to make a decision that somebody can move forward with finding an alternative, plan that isn't $6 million that we can work towards. Thank you.
It's kind of what we just did, right?
Right, yeah, she just wanted to reiterate.
Hello, my name is Denise Anderson. Address is 7165 South Channel Drive, Harson's Island. I've been there for 25 years, full-time resident. My husband has owned the property for over 100 years. We too are part of the special assessment for our road to be fixed and maintained. Currently, we have over $4,000 in the account. We have the township cuts 2 checks for us every year. Although we have not heard that that account is going to be dispersed or dismantled, I would really like some information on if that is going to happen and how can we deal with it in the future. Thank you.
Is she part of March Road too, no? It's a different fund?
We agreed to give the money back to the people.
Oh, yeah, that's it's the same March Road.
Because we didn't know this.
Yeah, it's the same March Highway Road Fund, right?
Mr. Cassidy, you've worn many hats. Attorney, former judge, former prosecutor, now township supervisor. But the one hat you haven't worn yet is the one that comes with an orange jumpsuit. And maybe you never will. But the way this OHM contract was handled raises serious questions about transparency, legality, and potentially criminal conduct. And those questions aren't going away. You said that OHM did work upon your signature, waiting for you to ratify the contract, and that you did ratify it. Michigan requires that the township board approve contracts before they are executed by the supervisor. Sometimes the board can legally ratify an unauthorized contract after the fact, but very specific conditions must be met. The ratification cannot be an attempt to conceal wrongdoing, and the public cannot be misled. Well, you failed on those contracts, on those requirements. From your days as prosecutor and judge, you know this. It's not often the original offense that carries the harshest penalties. It's the cover-up. Defendants walk away from bad decisions, but they don't walk away from conspiracy and obstruction. Maureen, you stated bids were mailed and emailed out on December 23rd, and that OHM was the only one to respond. And respond they did. Their 8-page contract is dated December 23rd, the same day the bids went out, and addressed to Mr. Cassidy, thanking him for placing his confidence in OHM. The bid was for $150,000, the exact amount to the penny that was taken from the water department. Mr. Cassidy signed this on December 30th in violation of the Open Meeting Act. Therefore, legally, the $150,000 in ARPA funds cannot be used to pay OHM. Jerry, you stated that you received opinions from Michigan Township Association and an expensive CPA firm, but why haven't we heard mention of a legal opinion from the township attorney? Tanya, at the last meeting, you said we need to put all this behind us and move forward. Let me be very clear. The public didn't come here with broom and dustpans to help sweep this mess under the supervisor's rug. We're not here to forget, to excuse, or to move on from misconduct. We're here to demand truth, transparency, and accountabilities. These meetings will only start to move forward when this board is held accountable for their actions. Only those who show real leadership and integrity will be allowed to serve Clay Township because that's what its citizens deserve. OHM is an illegally authorized contract, and anyone voting to pay for their bills is misappropriating taxpayers' money.
Hello, Artie Bryson, 8356 South Channel Drive. I recently put in one of those FOIA requests, and I requested all the communications that were sent to the 10 companies about the RFP that was on December 23rd, certified mail. And I also requested the actual RFP that was sent to OHM. I wouldn't think these would be too hard to come up with, but I just recently received, we needed a 10-day extension for this FOIA request. So it sounds kind of fishy to me. Why? I mean, you would think the RFP would be not hard to get your hands on and reply back. So just curious. Thank you.
There's no further comments. Do we have any board comments, John?
Just congratulations to Officer Shane, whoever it is.
Shane.
What is it?
Shane.
I apologize.
His dad was a childhood friend of mine.
Okay, good luck up in Croswell. It's a whole different world up there, but, and then thank you to all the candidate applicants coming out tonight and sitting through our marathon board meeting. There were some good candidates there, and that was, there was a few that would have been excellent. It was a tough decision, but thank you all for coming out.
I repeat what John said. Congratulations, Bev. Welcome to the board, and Sean, for moving on up to a chief's position, I guess. And the candidates were excellent. Matter of fact, I'm going to keep your resumes on file. Thank you.
Yeah, ditto. I'm really glad that we had so many good people to choose from. The residents of the Martz Highway Road Fund, I've talked to a couple on this board, and we're going to bring it up at the next meeting. Obviously, this meeting was very long, but hopefully what we can do, since it seems there was miscommunication, of contacting you before we pass the resolution, is possibly move it to the winter tax bill as you requested, giving me time to spend that money, because we don't want to see any open bills out there and have an issue with it. Patty Kernahan, God bless you and what you've been through. You asked me to read a letter on your behalf at a previous meeting, and I'm not saying that you're against champions, but the death that I referenced is a matter of public knowledge. It has been discussed many times before. It is a legitimate matter of public concern. The event is important as it relates to future public safety. And if people don't understand what happened, is there was an emergency in the middle of the evening. 23 times Champions was called before they answered the phone, and it was a very long delay getting to her emergency situation. I am making a board comment, and that is my right, and I will not be interrupted. So I want to apologize. God bless Patty. I will not, but it is a matter of public record, and it is something that the residents should know happened. We have safety concerns, and it's a legitimate safety concern. Thank you.
Mark, you have anything?
I'm done.
Tanya?
I want to thank all the candidates for coming out, and congratulations, Bev. I also want to give a shout out to the DPW and the DPW Supervisor Lance for getting the splash pad up and running before they thought it would be, and the splash pad hours are going to be from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Jerry?
I'll ditto what Mark said. Congratulations, Officer Sean, and
Is there some issue with the Marks Road, John?
with the Marks Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marks.
On Marks Road, we cannot revisit that because there's a state law that says we have to give the money back this year. It has not been used since 2017.
Well, can we pay bills that they've got?
No, it's closed. The account's closed. They can start their own association, or they can reapply for another assessment.
Special assessment,
Special
right?
assessment, but that fund is done.
And I think
And
part of the
nothing we can
problem
do about
with
it.
that is that there are a number of new people, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that the people aren't the same that were initially there.
Right, and the state law says that it goes back to
Well, we'll investigate if we can just come up with this money and assist that road problem.
You would think that there'd be some kind of a contract between people, and if they disappear, then they're out the money. basically.
Well, the person, it could stay with the property owner,
That's
the
what I would
person,
think we
the
would
person,
do.
new person
The
bought the
present
property, but
property
there's outstanding bills, and they say they weren't contacted. I don't know if it was a miscommunication, but I'm surprised.
Well, let's take a look at these bills.
Jerry, what was the term on that special assessment? How long? Do you know?
I know it ended in 17, so I don't know when I can look that up for you. Okay, I don't know when it started. If Anita was here, she'd know, because she handles the assessments.
My only comment is I hope we can go forward and be a unified board. We've had our issues. I know there's a lot of people here that dislike me. I didn't come here to be anybody's friend. I came here to try to do the best I could. If I fall short of that, I'm sorry. Ma'am, if you think that I should be prosecuted, please go to the government and tell them.
I have.
Well, take their answer.
Oh, no, that's not my answer.
Yeah, okay. So, a motion to
A
adjourn?
motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?